With the release of Tombstone Masket came the most powerful magic weapon in Oldschool Runescape, the Tumeken Shadow. The Tumeken Shadow triples your magic accuracy and magic damage, which is why it is so powerful. The weapon being as good as it is makes obtaining one quite expensive. Starting with no gold in my bank, my goal is to earn enough GP to purchase the Tumeken Shadow and take on one of RuneScape's newest and more difficult challenge, a 500 invocation completion. Here is 0 GP to Tumeken Shadow. Hello everyone and welcome. This is my old Group Iron Man account, GrayesCat2, which people who follow my content should be all too familiar with. And today, I'll be starting from 0 GP to eventually earn enough money to afford a Tumeken Shadow, which is currently around 1.8 billion GP. Before we get started, I do want to showcase my bank, as I won't be starting from nothing, as I do have a few skilling outfits and diary items available to me, along with some random assorted items that I've earned throughout the Group Iron Man series. I do also have a few broken combat items which I won't allow myself to use until I repair them. It's not a perfect solution, but that is what I'm going with. And also, don't worry about the totem pieces and the dark totems. I won't be using those throughout the series, as I do realize that would be way too OP of a start. Now, one other tool that I will allow myself to use throughout this series is my house. It is not a maxed house, though it is very close to it. And I understand that houses are very powerful, but I did put in the time throughout the Group Iron Man series to get the house where it is now, so I would like to use it throughout the series to make a lot of money making methods possible. Before I left the Group Iron Man series, one thing I really wanted to do was max this account, and I've never had a max account, and this account is very close to it. Maybe not extremely close, still quite a few levels to go, but I would like to put in the time and maybe do skills that will also be profitable and also work towards max, which is what I'm going to be starting with this episode, and that is going to be thieving, a quite fast skill and one of the best money making skills in the game. So let's get started on thieving. Starting off, I think I am going to thieve the Knights of Ardon. It is a great way to get some cash if you have absolutely nothing. I think I'm going to stay here until I have enough cash to probably get my construction cape, and then I think I want a little bit of extra GP as well to probably get a blackjack, so you'll probably know where I'm going after that. I've been thieving the Knight of Ardon for a little bit over an hour now, and as you can see, I got a decent bit over the amount I was looking for, but I was very close to a level, so I figured I'd go ahead and get 81 thieving. And now that I have a bit over 100k, I am going to go ahead and run myself over to the estate agent, which is very luckily right next to where I was thieving, and we'll go ahead and buy us one of the most overpowered capes in the game, the construction cape. And there we are, one of the most OP capes in the game, and we have a little bit of extra GP, so let's go ahead and head to the Grand Exchange and buy a few things. Now I did say buy a few things, but the only thing I really needed was the Maple Blackjack. As I mentioned, I am going to go blackjacking now. I know these aren't the most exciting money making methods, but right now I'm just trying to get some starter cash so I can do some of the more expensive money makers, and I'm also trying to get my thieving level up so I can also do some thieving money makers that make quite a bit more money. So let's start the blackjack experience. Now I'm not going to make you guys sit through one of the most boring and click intensive skilling methods in the game, so what I am going to do is just compile all the levels that I get from this. I'm probably going to go all the way to level 91 so I can start my next thieving skilling method. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. This is going to take me many hours. For you, it'll be like 5 seconds. And finally, after many hours of Menifite thugs, we finally get ourselves 91 thieving, which will unlock our next moneymaker. Before I move on to my next moneymaker, I do want to give you guys some information about the Ardorian Knights and the Menifite thugs. From 80 to 81 thieving, I was getting about 150k XP an hour and 180k GP an hour at the Ardorian Knights, and 81 to 91 thieving, which I was doing at the Menifite thugs, I was getting around 250k XP an hour at max efficiency and around 210k GP an hour. Now that we have a bit over 3 mil to work with, I am going to invest in a few items, and you could probably guess my next moneymaker is another thieving moneymaker. Now that we have 91 thieving, I unlocked the top floor of the Pyramid Plunder, so I'm going to do that and try to get myself a Pharaoh Scepter. I went ahead and invested a little bit of my cash into the Regent Bracelet, about 1,000 wines for food, and 100 antidotes just to help because you do get poisoned at Pyramid Plunder. There is one other thing I want to buy, but it is not at the Grand Exchange, so let's head over to the Duel Arena actually. Well, I suppose this is now the PvP arena. I haven't actually been here since the update, but the more important thing, I do want to pick myself up an HP cape, because with the Regent Bracelet and an HP cape, I should be restoring 4 HP per minute, which is quite good compared to the normal 1 HP per minute. Now that I've made it to Sophanum, I do want to put a little challenge on myself. That being is I will continue to do Pyramid Plunder until I get 99 thieving or until I get the Pharaoh Scepter, whichever comes first. The Pharaoh Scepter is worth about 7 mil, so I do want to do this until I get one, and I should get one before I get 99 thieving, as the rate is something about 1 in 8 to 10 hours if I do the correct sarcophagus and gold chests. There is 92 thieving. And here is 93 thieving. Yet another thieving level here at the Pyramid Plunder up to 94 thieving. And another thieving level without getting the scepter up to 95 thieving now. Did not think I would make it this far without getting the scepter, but it seems like it's the case. Maybe we'll make it all the way to 99. Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. Yet another thieving level up to 96 thieving now. Still no scepter. When I said I was going to make it all the way to 99, did not think I'd make it this far, but 3 levels to go, or maybe scepter. Yes! I have finally found it! Oh man. 96.5 thieving, all the way from 91 thieving to get this Pharaoh Scepter. Man, that took some time, but we finally have it. And we can finally move on to our next activity, but let's go ahead and sell this thing. Just like I've done with the previous two methods, I do want to give you the XP per hour I was getting. From 91 to 96 thieving, I was getting around 200k XP an hour. This could be up to 270k if I was focusing more on XP rather than going for the scepter, but since I was going for the scepter, I was getting around 200k. As for GP per hour, let me go ahead and pull up the Grand Exchange, as I actually have everything sold already, including the Region Bracelet, as I will not need it for the next method I will be doing. So there is the Pharaoh Scepter, and then I was also collecting the gold seals, the gold scarabs, and the gold statuettes, for a total of like 8.1 mil made within that time, and then I also sold off my Region Bracelet. So in total, we are now over the 10 mil mark, the nice green cash stack, and I still have 700k from earlier buying all the things we have, so we're now up to 11 mil cash. A lot of cash starting with the first episode, and we're not even done yet, as we're going into our next method with a very similar theme of thieving. So the next money making method I'll be doing in this video is actually just one of the best money makers in the game, and I went ahead and bought a few things. What I'll need is the dodgy necklace, a lava battle staff, and a bunch of cosmic runes. I went over and swapped over to the Archaeus spellbook, and if we throw on the lava battle staff, I can cast Shadow Veil. What Shadow Veil does is basically reduce my chance of getting caught when pickpocketing. Along with the dodgy necklaces, I think I have like a 36% chance of not getting stunned whenever I fail a pickpocket, and as you can just notice, I will be pickpocketing a certain NPC. If you guys have not guessed, the money making method I'll be doing next is pickpocketing elves. Elves are very interesting. At 99 thieving, you on average get 1 enhanced seed every 2 hours, and with the rogue outfit, you'll get a second one, so you get 2 every 2 hours, so on average, you get 1 per hour. However, I am not 99 thieving, I am 96 though, with all of that training there at the Pyramid Plunder, so it should take me a little bit longer than 2 hours to get 1 drop, but who knows, I can get lucky and get it a lot quicker than that. I really have no idea how long this is going to take, but it should take nowhere near as long as it took me to get the scepter, which if you're curious was about 22 hours. One cool trick I do also want to show you guys before I get started, if you shift click the elf, you can set its left click option to pickpocket, as you see I'm doing here, and I can just left click pickpocket instead of having to right click pickpocket, which is so much more convenient. Yes, we got it. Pretty much exactly on drop rate as well. The enhanced crystal teleport seed, not too bad. Go ahead and open the sidebar, look at that. 1011 pickpockets, so pretty much exactly on drop rate. Like I said, it's 1021 for drop rate. So I actually got a pretty decent bit lucky here, and just to show up on the price check, as you can see, they are worth about 3 mil a piece, so I made about 6 mil in a very short period of time. Let's go ahead and head to the Grand Exchange and sell these things off. That money making method did not take too long at all, only took me about 2 hours in order to make a little bit over 3 mil. I did use about 31 dodgy necklaces, and it looks like I used 635 cosmic runes, so a little bit of supply cost there, but if we just go ahead and throw everything into the price checker and take out the dodgy necklaces and the cosmic runes, as you can see, a nice 6.3, 6.4 mil, plus the crystal shards as well, which I can turn into money with divine potions if I wish to do so. But let's go ahead and sell everything that we got first. Everything else sold, and if we go ahead and collect the inventory, as you can see, a nice 6.2 mils would end up being after the GE tax and everything like that. I did insta sell everything, so I may have lost a little bit of cash there, but it is completely fine, because if I just check everything into my bank now, from nothing, we are already up to 17 mil. That is quite amazing. Super happy with the progress so far, but that is not the end of this episode. Even though that is a lot of money to be made within the first episode, I still have one more big thieving moneymaker that I want to try out. You may know what it is, but let's go ahead and get equipped to do that. The first thing I am going to grab is the Draken's Medallion, which I do not have in my bank, and that kind of does give away the moneymaker. I am going to be pickpocketing Virus in hopes for a Blood Shard. It is a 1 in 5k, unlike the 1 in 1k I just went for, but it is just the same, where if I get 1 blood shard, I will get 2 with the full rogue's outfit, and that's what I'll be going for. Blood shards about 7.5 mil a piece right now, so if I do manage to get one, especially early on, I will make an insane amount of money in an insane short amount of time. But on average, it'll take me about 8 hours to get a blood shard, so it should take about 8 hours, so that's what I'm expecting. Hopefully I at least go on drop rate or a little lower, but if I go over drop rate, it's not too bad, I guess. Just like the elves I was pickpocketing, you can cast Shadow Veil, you can use a dodgy necklace, and you can also left click pickpocket by shift clicking to left click option, so it should be pretty nice. I will also be doing the same thing I did with the Pharaoh Scepter, either get 99 thieving or the blood shard, whichever comes first. Just hit 97 thieving, so let's see what we get first, our blood shard or 99 thieving. And there was 98 thieving. You know what that means. We now only have 1 level until we are done or until we get the blood shard. If we hit 99 thieving without the blood shard, that is where I will stop. But if we get the blood shard, then that is also where I'll stop. I really do hope I get the blood shard. Don't get me wrong, I would love 99 thieving, but the blood shard is what I'm looking for. So 1 level to go. Let's see. We have reached a decent milestone. No, we are not about to get 99 thieving, but if I go ahead and show you guys the loot tracker, we have 4,999 vires, and the drop rate for the blood shard is 5,000. So if I can get my lost pickpocket in here, we now have 5,000 vires pickpocketed, but unfortunately we do not have a blood shard. But I guess if you want to look on the bright side and say one fortunate thing is we have about 3,000 more pickpockets to go. So in total we'll be just above 8,000 pickpockets total to go for the blood shard. And things tend to work out on drop rate, pretty much every drop in RuneScape. I don't go super dry on, and hopefully this will also be that case where I just get the blood shard a little bit after the drop rate. You guys will see if I do. Otherwise, we're just going to get 99 thieving. So let's see how luck plays out. It happened. We finally got it. Oh, we did not have to make it to 99 thieving. Oh, I am so happy. I was like leaning back on my chair, didn't even see that I got it, but I saw I had like an underline in chat, and I knew there was 1 of 2 things that could happen, is I got the pet or the blood shard. And here it is, the blood shard. Go ahead and pull up the Vire tracker. Not too bad, a little bit over the drop rate, but 890 out of over 5,000 over. I am not going to complain about that. That is not too bad at all. So, most important thing now, let's go to the Grand Exchange and sell off these bad boys. That is a lot of money. Apparently it's plus 18 mil, but let's figure out exactly how much it is. One last thing before I go ahead and sell off everything. So I want to mention the XP per hour I was getting at Vires. 180k XP an hour from 96 to 98 thieving. Not too bad. It really was not bad at all. It's even better than what the wiki is saying, because the wiki assumes for some reason you're not using dodgy necklaces, and if you are using dodgy necklaces, it is insane. Vires, definitely a +1 for me, even better than the elves. Now let's go ahead and sell off our bank. Alright, I've checked everything into the Grand Exchange, and as you can see, I also sold off all the rubies, the diamonds, the death runes, and the blood runes that I got from the virus. Here's the loot tracker if you're curious, just so you know that all the loot is accurate. I got what I sold, so there's no confusion there. Let's start with the blood shards. I haven't actually looked, I just insta-sold them what they're going for, and apparently they're even selling higher than what it's priced at. I have no idea what that sold for. It looks like 16.7, so I'm really not great with math. We'll just take 16.7 from 2 blood shards. Literally a single pickpocket was worth 16.7 mil. Quite crazy. And if we collect the rest of it, that's also a little bit over 1 mil it seems, as it went from 18 to 20. But all of this money in my inventory was just from those Vires. It's actually kind of nuts. Don't get me wrong, I spent a lot of time at Vires. Not as much as I spent on the Scepter, but that being said, that's quite crazy. And yeah, as I just mentioned, that is not all of our money, because if we go into the bank here, we also have 16 mil from the Scepter and the Elven Crystals from earlier. And I think what I want to do is just literally sell off everything I bought, like the Cosmic Runes, the Dodgy Necklaces, everything in my bank, and see how much total we've made for this episode. So I didn't have as much in my bank as I thought I did, but we did get a few 100k, so if we go ahead and collect that and examine our cash stack, we now have made basically 37 mil from absolutely nothing in this episode. That is definitely one way to start an episode, but 37 mil is still quite a bit of ways from what we need for the Tumeken Shadow, which is currently worth about 1.8 bill, and I'll definitely have to purchase a few permanent upgrades such as Rigor and Augury, and then I also may want to get an Avernic for myself. They are quite expensive at the moment, so I'm hoping those go down as well, but that is going to be it for this episode. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of 0 GP to Tumekens Shadow. In the last episode, we did a lot of thieving, which got us to a nice 36, we'll call it 37 mil cash since it is just 50k off of it. And in this episode, we are going to start with some Zora. So I'm going to spend a lot of this money on Zora supplies, probably get things like the Toxic Trident, Blowpipe, and whatever else I'll need. Not too sure of everything I'll spend it on, but I'll try to make the best use of the money that I have. And I also want to set a goal for this episode, and that is to unlock Rigor and Augury. I do already have Augury unlocked, but I will rebuy the Prayer Scroll and probably just drop it on the ground just so it's kind of fair in that sense. And yeah, I can already unlock probably Rigor and Augury just by spending my entire cash stack, but that would put me back at square zero, so that's probably not what I'm going to do. I'd like to earn a bit of money and keep a lot of the essential items such as Toxic Blowpipe and the Trident. So let's get to spending and see what I actually end up buying. Well, money really does go fast once you start spending it. I've already spent the majority of my cash stack just on a few of the essential items I want to use. Went ahead and bought all 3 of these Zora items since I feel like the Serpentine helmet so I don't get venomed is very valuable, and just really a really good range and magic weapon is something I really want. I do have a little bit of extra cash as I did insta-buy everything with a plus 5%, so I did get about 1 mil back, but now I only have 2.6 mil to buy the rest of the items, but I do feel like I bought most of the essentials, so let's do one more buy. So I bought a few other things, just some charges for my Trident, a few darts for my Blowpipe, got D'hide boots, which I'll probably use the entire time, and some supplies for actually killing Zora, such as sharks, Chiron Bronze, and some divine ranging potions. I did also buy 5,000 Zora scales and the glory off camera, so I just don't pull that up in the history in case you're curious how much I paid for everything. And now we're all the way down to 219k, so like I said, the money really does go fast, but I'm going to go ahead and sort of gear up with what I have and see what I'm missing. So I've checked through everything and I pretty much have everything I need except for some ring of recalls to put into my suffering, so I went ahead and purchased that. And I also need a few untradeable items, which obviously I cannot get from the Grand Exchange. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and head to Purdue. First off, I want to repair my Avas, and I'd like to repair my Imbued Zamrock Cape. I have no idea how much it's going to cost to repair everything. It looks like 150k, but that's not it from Purdue. I also want to go ahead and buy myself a Book of Darkness, which I can get for free at the Lighthouse. But I'll go ahead and buy it here since I'm already here. Definitely a waste of 14k, but it is what it is. I'll be doing a lot of Zora, so it's no problem. Now let's go ahead and buy some Rune Gloves, I guess, since we only have 19k. And here we are, a pair of Rune Gloves. Basically, I have no cash left, but there is one more thing I'm going to do, and it does involve the Ring of Suffering. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and imbue my Ring of Suffering. I do believe I have quite a few Nightmare Zone points, so it should be no problem upgrading my Ring of Suffering. And now let's just go ahead and put some Ring of Recoils in there. Let's go ahead and put 50, and then let's just make sure that Ring of Recoil is toggled on. So if we toggle the Ring of Recoil effect, you enable it. So now we are ready to do some Zora, and we pretty much spent exactly all of our cash, so very nice usage there. So here is the setup I'm going to start to kill Zora with. I have a lot of upgrades that I need to make, such as just getting Barrow's Gloves, probably an Occult Necklace and a Fury, and so on and so forth. There is a lot of things that can be upgraded and will be upgraded throughout this grind. And I also want to self-impose a challenge on myself like I've done in the last episode. I'm probably going to do Zora, or in fact I will do Zora until I get a Zora unique. And what I mean by Zora unique is everything on the unique table except for the Onyx. So the Toxic Fang, the Tanzanite Fang, and the Serpentine helmet, I'll be going for either of those 3. If I get all of those 3, I am free to leave, but I'll probably stay if I get it really early because I need a lot of money as I basically have a 14k cash stack. And there it is, the second Zora kill on this account. I did get my first Zora kill going for the diary, so not too bad. 222, I don't know if that is fast or slow because it's been a very long time since I've done Zora, but the drop is pretty bad, so it is what it is. I'm gonna go for as many as I can. There's the third ever kill on this account. That drop is much better, about 100k, so really that's what I should be expecting from every kill. I think I'm just going to go and sell this off now and upgrade to Barrow's Gloves. And here we are, a pair of Barrow's Gloves. Well, there is a collection log item. The Zolandra Teleport on kill 7 or 8, 7 of this session, 8 total. Not too bad, they're worth a decent amount, so I'll definitely take those. Actually, it's like 100k, I didn't realize they're worth that much, that's actually insane. Really good drop, it's like a 200k drop total. There is the 10th kill of this session for Zora, and I think I've definitely made enough money now to go ahead and purchase the Occult, so I'm going to sell off what I've earned and see if I can afford that. So I went ahead and purchased an Occult Necklace, and I figured I might as well buy Divine Magic Potions to go along with my range potions since they do boost my magic level by a bit, and of course I cannot afford an Imbued Heart yet. There is 25 kills completed. I am now up to 30 kills with the Zora session. Go ahead and show you guys the loot tracker. Actually 32 kills apparently. Here is what my loot tab is looking like, a good 2.5 mil. So we can make some upgrades. I could either buy a Fury or an Arcane. So I think I am going to go for Arcane. And no, I'm not talking about the Spirit Shield. I am talking about Augury. So let me go ahead and purchase that Prayer Scroll. And there we are, an Arcane Prayer Scroll. Sold off everything in my loot tab except for the Zora skill, since I do need to put them back into my Toxic Blowpipe, for example. But if you are aware, I do already have the Augury unlocked, so if I try to read this prayer scroll, it seems like I cannot learn it. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to just drop it randomly right here, and let's see what actually happens. Let's see if people start running towards it. I think it'd be pretty funny to see. Alright, I think the Arcane Prayer Scroll should be showing up on the ground any second now. And there it is, there's all the people running to it. Looks like this lucky person got it, Ray of Light. So congrats to them, I guess, a nice 1.2 mil. With the rest of the money, I decided to just go ahead and fill my Toxic Trident all the way up, and then I bought a few extra darts. Hey, that's a drop. We will take that. An uncut Onyx, but if you guys remember my statement that I made at the beginning, I specifically said if I get an uncut Onyx, I am not counting that as a unique towards leaving. Very nice, a nice 2.2 mil drop. That means we are actually going to be able to make an upgrade. Now the next upgrade I'm going to get is actually the Amulet of Fury. It has basically the same offensive stats as a Glory, except for it has +5 prayer bonus and a bit more defensive bonus, which is actually relevant at Zora because you're wearing it during the magic phase and you take a bunch of range damage. Since it is an Amulet of Fury, a great way of going about it is just making my own. I'll definitely lose a little bit more money if I just sold the Onyx and then bought a Fury, but it's okay. I feel like it's a really cool way of going about it. So let's go ahead and cut the Onyx, and now we have a normal Onyx, and go ahead and make it into an amulet. Make it into the amulet, go ahead and string it, and I went ahead and bought a Lava Battle Staff, so let's go ahead and cast Enchant, and there we are, we now have an Amulet of Fury, pretty much made from scratch, so very cool. And this is the back-to-back kill from Zora, and I just hit 50 KC as you can see, so now if I ever die I will have to pay 100k, but I should note I've yet to die. Well, that is something I probably did not want to see this early, or maybe I did. I don't even know how to feel about that. A Jar of the Swamp on 54 KC. That is quite rare. I believe that's a 1 in 3,000, maybe 1 in 2,000. Very interesting. I am not going to count this as a unique for me to be able to leave. I definitely want to get one of the big ones. There we go. We will take that. Tanzanite Fang very early on, only 60 KC, so 11 KC after the Onyx, and we are free to go if we choose to do that. I am not done here. I definitely want to continue going as I haven't made that much money, but the extra 4 mil from the Tanzanite Fang, we'll take that. That's not too bad. I think it'd be pretty cool to do the exact same thing I did with the Onyx and make it into a Fury. I'm gonna go ahead and make the Tanzanite Fang into a Blowpipe and use that instead of the one I bought. So let's just go ahead and sell this one. A nice 3.8 mils looks like what I'll get. After tax, it's exactly what I get, so we'll take that. Go ahead and use a chisel on the Tanzanite Fang. We now have ourselves another Blowpipe. Well, it seems like my luck doesn't really end at Zora anytime soon. We are 69 KC, and we've gotten our third unique now. It is another uncut Onyx, and it's not a unique per se, but very, very nice. A nice 2.2 mil. Just throw that into the bank. Bro, what is my RNG? I will take this, but what is my RNG? 71 KC, 2 kills after? That is my fourth unique, so now I have a Serpentine Visage, the Blowpipe, and 2 Onyxes. If this is how the series is going to start, we will take that. We will take that. Zora, I appreciate it. 71 KC, beautiful. Well, you guys know the drill at this point. Let's go ahead and replace our Serp Helm, uncharge this one, and let's go ahead and sell that in the GE so I don't get confused. And then let's go ahead and carve this one into a Serp Helm, and there we go. We now have our own Serp Helm. It was a pretty fast kill, a nice 114. I didn't think I'd get that fast with the gear I'm currently rocking, but I had a really good kill, so I will take that. I'm curious if I can get any faster than that. Well, there is the first death all the way at 92 KC. I thought I'd tech gate that, but hey, it is what it is. All the way 92 KC without dying. I am not going to complain about that. I've been farming Zora for a decent bit now, up to 119 KC, and if we pop in the bank, our loot tab is over 10 mil, and if we go into our main bank, we have over 6 mil cash stack. 10 mil plus 6 mil is 16 mil, so we can definitely afford our next upgrade, which I think is going to be Anguish. I think Anguish is probably the best thing I can do. And there we go, another upgrade, the Necklace of Anguish. That should help our DPS on the range quite a bit. Oh, I've never actually thought about this. I've gotten like so many weird drops, I haven't actually actually gotten an elite clue scroll yet. Let's go for it. Elite clue scroll, see how that goes. Well, that was fun. The first elite clue I've done in a while. What is our reward going to be? Looks like a bunch of nothing. Apparently I got a collection log slot with the ancient page 2. We'll take that, but a nice 129k. Well then, I don't even know what to say at this point. This is now the 5th Zora unique. Crazy that I've already gotten 5 drops and now 141 KC. I am extremely spoon-fed here at Zora. Another elite clue scroll, I guess I'll go ahead and do this one as well. Elite casket achieved, let's see what's going to be inside this one, and it turns out to be a mimic. That is actually the first mimic I've gotten on this account. That's really cool. Mimic completed, let's see what I am now going to get from the clue. I do believe if you get a mimic, you have a really high chance of getting third age. Please, maybe, this is the chance. It looks like we get nothing except for 4 Wands of Zamrock. We're hoping for something better. 204k though. That's not too bad, I guess. 201 KC. I had to get an extra one because I did start with 1 KC. And that is Zora completed. At least for my money-making series. I still am missing the Fang and a lot of other like super rare items, but we'll take that 200 KC. Let's see how much money we made from all that. Since I've been selling off loot as I've been going just to upgrade my gear, I'll go ahead and throw up the loot tracker so you can see in total how much I made from Zora. Now I did get extremely spooned, as you guys are aware, so do not expect to make this much from 200 Zora kills. 34 mil is an insane amount. It means I got a unique 1 out of every 40 kills, which is disgusting. I should expect like 1, maybe 2 uniques in 200 kills. Definitely not 5 uniques. Granted, 3 were onyxes, but still absolutely crazy. So let me go ahead and show you my loot tab as well now. For the loot tab, I've only been saving up like 50 kills, something like that, maybe a little less. And I've also been like using the runes to resupply my toxic trident and all that. But we're about a 10 mil, which is I think exactly what I sold my loot tab for last time. So pretty deja vu there. And I think I'm not only going to sell off my loot tab, but sell off a few items as well to get into our next moneymaker, such as probably full Arams. And I think even the Ring of Suffering, which I had to imbue, is probably going to have to go because it's just a little bit too expensive. I sold off all of the loot tab and got a bit over 10 mil cash, and then I also sold off some of the more expensive pieces of gear I had. So go ahead and click collect here, and it looks like we got ourselves just shy of 50 mil. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and invest into supplies for our next moneymaker, which you guys probably already know by looking at the title of this video, is going to be Vorkath. And here we are, purchased everything that I think I'll need for Vorkath, even got myself a lance over the Dragon Hunter crossbow because I'll be doing melee Vorkath, and lance is quite cheap at the moment because of Fang being in the game. And I also got myself a Hydra leather, which is going to be a permanent upgrade to my glove slot, so I'll permanently have the best in slot gloves for melee. So go ahead and collect all that, and I do have to do a few things such as repair a few items and then also turn these into actual ferocious gloves. I did mention I had to do a few things. One of those things was reobtain my salve amulet, so here we are. Go ahead and make 10 salves, and if you ever need Tarn's diary, you can always just find it inside the bookcase in your house, so all we gotta do is go ahead and use that on the salve amulet, and there we go. We now have 10 salve amulet E's, and I don't even really need to imbue it, but I probably will because the unimbued version only works for melee and the rest of them work for mage and range, and I'm only going to be using melee from Vorkath. Here we are making ferocious gloves, and apparently this process is reversible. I was not aware of that, so if I go ahead and use ferocious gloves, I can also return them back to the Hydra leather. So I guess it's not a permanent upgrade if I don't want it to be, so if I ever need the 5 mil back, I can do so. And one of the final things I need to do before facing Vorkath is repair my fighter torso and my infernal cape here at Purdue, and it's going to be quite expensive again, 125k. And just like with Zora I did earlier, my cash stack is down to 0 after buying all the gear I need. So very similar in that sense, and I haven't even really gotten everything because I actually don't have a rune pouch, so that'll probably be our first upgrade. Here's the setup I will be killing Vorkath with. I gotta be very careful because I don't even have 100k to pay for my death if I do die, and I just noticed something actually didn't imbue my Berserker ring, so give me 1 second there. Now that I have the Berserker ring imbued, it is time to do Vorkath, and I've actually never done melee Vorkath, and like I mentioned earlier, I can't exactly afford a death, so let's just hope I get this right on the first try. And there we are, the first melee Vorkath kill I have ever done, and my goodness, I did not realize how much it really shreds, man. Dragon Hunter Lance is amazing, and what a good drop to get. I can now afford a death if I do die with the Dragon Bolts, so we'll take that. 150 with first try. I'm really excited to see how well it can go. I managed to only get a 1-kill trip because I kept splashing on my Crumble Undead, so I think what I'm going to do is invest into a Slayer Staff to hopefully stop my splashing. Let's try that and see if that helps at all. Another PB here at Vorkath. Vorkath and yet another Dragon Bolt tip drop. I've upgraded to the Slayer staff and that has made all the difference. I haven't splashed since, so I'm glad I made that upgrade. If you guys are noticing you're splashing as well, highly recommend it. Another PB, really get it down now. I feel like I'm going to get a lot of PBs with the Lance. The Lance is absolutely shredding Vorkath. Well, there is the first unique from the Vorkath session. We got ourselves a Vorkath set. I think this is the second Vorkath set I've ever had, so it's kind of nice. I guess I can make myself another Avas, or I guess Slayer Helmet, or whatever else you do with Vorkath's head. And there is a 4-kill trip. I'm starting to get 4-kill trips quite consistently now, which is very good for GP per hour. I end up getting a lot of kills per hour the more I can get per trip, so this is actually turning to be a very decent moneymaker. And just a few kills later, there is our second Vorkath's head. Pretty common drop, but it is still cool to get them nonetheless. And talk about faster kills, we just got ourselves a 111 with the Dragon Head Lance. That's a pretty fast one. That's quite a bit faster than my previous. Even got myself a Master Combat achievement with a 111. Maybe I can get slightly faster, but I'll be honest, that was a really fast kill. Don't think I'll get much faster with that, if at all, but 111, that's insane. Well, there is the first death at 81 KC. I ended up doing 31 KC deathless. I gotta be pretty proud about that, but there is the first death. I think I'm going to go ahead and sell off the loot tab and then just buy some more supplies because I was already running pretty low on those. Here is the Vorkath loot tab for those curious. Looks like it's just above 3 mil at the moment. There we are, 100 kills at Vorkath now, but only 50 in this session. So I have 150 to go, so I'm about 1/4 done with the total amount. There is kill number 100 with an elite clue scroll. That is actually very nice, but that is not actually why I wanted to record. As I just said, that was kill number 100, and what I'm going to do now is go ahead and show you guys my loot tab. It's not the entire 100 kills, but I'm going to go ahead and sell it off and do at least one upgrade that I want to do. It is a permanent upgrade, so you guys probably know what it is, but let's head to the GE. Here is the loot tab I'm currently rolling with, so let's go ahead and sell this off. Now let's just go ahead and buy the permanent upgrade in the form of a rune pouch note, and let's go ahead buy one of those bad boys, sold for 4.3 mil, and then we just go ahead and use that on a banker, I believe, and we now have ourselves a rune pouch. So we have that permanently on the account, and we no longer have to bring 2 runes to cast Crumble Undead. I can just put it in the rune pouch and I'll save a few inventory slots. We also did get an elite clue scroll there, so I'll go ahead and complete that. Unfortunately, I got an elite clue step to grind out a farmer straw hat, and that is not what I'm going to be doing at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and give this to Watson and head back to Vorkath. Well, now that we have the rune pouch, let's go ahead and get the final 100 Vorkath kills in, and then we can see how 200 Vorkath kills compare to the 200 Zora kills. 120 kills, and we have our third Vorkath head, and we just got ourselves a back-to-back Vorkath head. Not very useful, but interesting nonetheless. Up to kill 200 total now, 150 in this session, 50 more to go. There we are at kill number 250, which is kill number 200 in the session. That means we have now killed 200 Vorkath and 200 Zora. So let's head to the Grand Exchange, compare the loot between the two. I guess I'll sell off my loot tab, which is 100 Vorkath in a single loot tab, and we'll see how much money we've made this episode. So the first thing I want to show you guys is the loot that I made from 200 Vorkath, and that is on screen now, 25.4 mil. Not too bad, but you'll notice there isn't any uniques other than the Vorkath head, which is expected for me to get about 4 of those, but it's also expected for me to get 0 uniques. Vorkath's just one of those bosses. If you're looking for uniques, you're gonna have to camp on average like 1,000 kills or something like that, sometimes even more to get like the valuable uniques such as the Draconic Visage and the Skeletal Visage as well. It's just not a boss that makes money off of its uniques. It's one of those bosses where it's just a consistent money maker off of its normal drops. However, when we go to Zora, you'll notice we made about 10 mil more, though we shouldn't have made that much more, just because of the fact that we got very lucky on uniques is the only reason that we made so much more money. However, if you actually look and take away the uniques, we actually made around the same amount of money, and for that reason, I actually do like Zora more. I will say Vorkath kills are faster, so you will get more kills per hour compared to Zora. However, just the chance of being able to get a unique and instantly make like 2, 3, sometimes 4 mil if the price is right on the uniques is just the reason I like Zora more. Also, the fact is sometimes I'm killing Vorkath, I look away for half a second and then a fireball insta-kills me, so there's a minus 100k. I think for all of my Zora kills, I died less than 10 times, and for Vorkath, I think I definitely died over 20 times. So it's just looking away and then instantly dying kind of sucks, but that's just how Vorkath is. So now that I've shown you the loot from Vorkath and gave you my opinion on both Zora and Vorkath, we have a very beautiful tab here, which is loot from 100 Vorkath, and that seems about correct, 12.4 mil, and on total for 200 kills, we got ourselves off 25.4 mil, and this does not include any of the cash or chaos runes, just because the chaos runes went into this tab and the cash went into my main tab because it would be very hard to track all of that. But that being said, let's go ahead and sell off this tab alone and see how much that is worth. And after selling off the entire loot tab, looks like we got 12.3. Because I didn't sell everything, looks like I lost about 100k. And if we go ahead and combine that with my current cash stack, we have ourselves a nice 15 mil there, and combined with the 64 mil, it looks like we're around 80 mil. I have a few more things to sell off, so let me just sell off what I can, and then we'll try to get a more accurate price check. And now I've sold off pretty much everything that I wanted to sell off, including the Dragonhead Lance. I'll go ahead and show through the history here. Basically just the DFS Zora scales that I had extra and the Dragonhead Lance. Everything else I'd like to keep as like a permanent upgrade, so to speak. If I need to like upgrade to something even higher at some point, then I'll sell it off, such as like the Ferocious Gloves, the Serpentine Helmet, which I made myself, and still the Blowpipe I made myself, and also the Fury as well. So 17.6 mil with just this tab right here, and in the total in the bank we're at 19.6 mil. And then if we throw in the nice 59.2 mil. In this episode, it looks like we got ourselves from 37 mil to basically around 79 mil. If you remember what our goal was at the start of this episode, it was to unlock Rigor and Augury. I have already unlocked Augury, as you saw earlier in this episode. With the money that we have made from Vorkath, it is now time to unlock Rigor. Fun fact, I've actually never had an account with Rigor, so this is going to be my first time ever doing this. Rigor is now more expensive, since not as many people are doing Chambers of Xerix now that the Tombs of Amaskid are out. So it is time to read this 34 mil scroll, and I am not going to get that 34 mil back, but it is an investment as Rigor is super powerful. So it is time to unlock Rigor. There we are. We now have every prayer unlocked. Super nice, but that is minus 34 mil for this episode. We are now down to 44.6 mil bank, and we will definitely be making a little bit more money in the next episode. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of 0GP to Tumekens Shadow. In the last episode, I had you guys vote on which moneymaker I should do for this episode, and it looks like you guys wanted to see Slayer over Skilling, so for this episode, we will be focusing on Slayer. Also, at the end of the last episode, we went ahead and unlocked Rigor and Augury. Very powerful prayers, and we will most likely make use of this within this video. We also ended with around a 45 mil bank. It looks like my items depreciated a slight bit, but we're around the same amount, so we are going to get started with Slayer. I'm going to go ahead and grab my Chromadra Gloves 4, and we'll go ahead and get a task from Duradel. Well, it looks like we are starting the Slayer grind extremely strong. 184 Hellhounds, and since I am doing Slayer for money, I am going to go ahead and do Cerberus, which has the potential to drop a Primordial Crystal. I think that's worth like 25 mil, maybe 30 mil at the moment, and I do have 93 Slayer, so I can do that no problem. Starting out, here's a few things I bought from Cerberus. Went ahead and bought a Bludgeon since I do not have an Arclight yet. I bought a Dragon Dagger as my spec weapon, as I can't really afford much better. Bought a Black Mask because we are going to have to remake ourselves a Slayer helmet. And then I also bought a Varix Plate Skirt as it's very tanky and also provides a little bit of prayer bonus. I have Wrath Runes and Soul Runes as I'm going to be using the Demonic Offering spell on the Infernal Ashes. It restores a few prayer points so I can save a bit of money on the prayer potions. I'll probably showcase that during one of the kills. And I also have some Sharks and Carambons, but I still need to buy a little bit more supplies. The last two things I needed was Super Combat Potions because I want to stay potted the entire time, and prayer potions, and this may not be even enough because Cerberus really drains through the prayer potions, but for now I'll start with 100 and see how far that'll get me. There's a few more things I need to do, like make this into a Slayer helmet and one other thing, so let's go ahead and get to that. One of the things I wanted to go ahead and do is repair my Dragon Defender for my Dragon Dagger specs. And since I feel like I'm in a pretty comfortable point in the series while I'll always have a little bit of extra cash, I want to go ahead and repair my Void just so it's not hanging over my head. So if we go and use everything on Purdue, this is going to be quite expensive. A nice 290k taken away, but we now have everything that we had broken at the start of the series repaired. So one of the things I mentioned that we need to go ahead and do is turn this into a Slayer helmet, but before we do that, I do want to imbue my Black Mask, but we ran into a little bit of a snag. If we check the reward chest, we only have 729k points, and it costs 1.25 mil in order to imbue the Black Mask. So I am going to just go ahead and AFK probably like an hour or two of Nightmare Zone. I also bought a few things for the Nightmare Zone, so I just wanted to show that to you guys real quick. Finished up with Nightmare Zone, ended up getting a little bit more points than needed, but that is okay because it got me all the way to 90 attack and 90 defense and a decent ways to 99 strength. Could even get it off the Cerberus task. I'm not exactly sure how much XP I get per task, but let's go find out. Now it is finally time to kill Cerberus, and here is the gear I am rocking with, and for those curious, here is my collection log for Cerberus. Only 2 crystals within 500 KC, so hopefully we can turn that around here. And I also want to at this point set a goal for the video. Our goal for this episode is to hit 100 mil bank value through Slayer. I'm not sure how hard this goal is or if it's even possible, but I'm going to give it my best shot. I mentioned the Demonic Offering spell, and I feel like this is a perfect opportunity to explain why I'm using it. So I'm going to go ahead and block the first, Block the second, use Demonic Offering, and it'll also block the third as you see there. Took 0 damage from the ghost, and that is exactly why I bring Demonic Offering, as it slightly restores my prayer just enough for one of the ghosts. And there is our first death to Cerberus. I didn't think it would come that early, but I was making really stupid mistakes, so I guess it is what it is. Oh, we got ourselves an elite clue score from Cerberus. We'll take that. I'll attempt to do that right after this Cerberus kill here. Well, we managed to complete the elite clue. What's going to be inside of it? 82k, can't expect too much from elite clues. Well, we got ourselves another elite clue scroll, and we have ourselves another elite casket. What is going to be inside this one? No uniques yet again, and another sub 100k reward. Well, that is another crystal, but not the crystal I'm looking for. Eternal Crystal, definitely not as bad as a Pegasian. A little bit of money, I guess, but that is our third Eternal Crystal that I've gotten from Cerberus, and I've yet to get any other crystals, so I'm happy to get one. Very, very nice to get this early on, but definitely not the one I was looking for. Big level right there. 99 strength here at Cerberus. And now we can start working on another combat skill, which I think I'll just go ahead and apparently all options are strength on the bludgeon. I was not aware of that. Pretty funny, but we'll start working on attack next. There we are, the last Cerberus kill of the task. Unfortunately, we did only get that Eternal Crystal, but now it is time to get another task. We got a task where we can make a decent bit of money. Thermonuclear Smoke Devil can drop a Smoke Battle Staff, which is pretty decent, and it also just has really good normal drops, so let's see if we make a little bit of money here. For Thermi, I think I'm going to go ahead and use the spec and redemption method, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab Carol's as my defense armor. I also went ahead and made myself a Crystal Halberd for Thermi, as it should be a little bit better than the Dragon Dagger. Oh, apparently there is an elite combat task, 20 kills at Thermi. Oh, we got ourselves a hard clue scroll from Thermonuclear Smoke Devil. I guess I'll take that. We have ourselves a hard casket. What are we going to get inside of it? 144k, not too bad considering how bad our elites have been, so they're better than that at least. Yeah, we got ourselves another hard clue scroll. I guess I'll take that. Hard casket achieved. What we got in there? 74k. We got ourselves a third hard clue scroll. Here's our third hard casket. What are we gonna get from this one? Still nothing special. This is the worst reward so far at 20k. Up to 100k C at Thermi right now. Boss is actually more profitable than I thought it would be. I mean, you get a lot of drops that are worth like 100k. Just got Onyx Bolt Tips into Sanfu Serums. Not too bad. There is the last kill of the Thermonuclear Smoke Devil task. Unfortunately, we did not get a single unique, but it was a pretty chill task and actually made a decent bit of money as well. Well, after finishing the Thermonuclear Smoke Devil, it looks like we are heading back to Cerberus, 144 Hellhounds. Maybe we'll have a little bit better luck on the crystals. That is what we are talking about. That is what I wanted to see. We got the luck we were looking for. The Primordial Crystal, the only crystal I really wanted to see. I'm like kill number 3 into the next task. That is where the money is at. That like 1/3 of my bank right there in one drop. Cerberus, I love you. Appreciate that, man. Since I got the Primordial Crystal, I may as well use it on the Paradragon Boots to make my own prims. Now, it is probably better for me to sell the Primordial Boots and upgrade to something like an Amulet Torture. However, I think I'm going to keep the prims since I did get them myself, and at least for the short term, it would be really cool to rock them, as they are really a beautiful pair of boots if we just throw those on. Absolutely amazing. Let's get back to Cerberus and see if we can get any more luck. Oh, first kill of the trip, we get ourselves an elite clue scroll. I will definitely take that. Elite casket achieved. Can we finally get a non-bad elite clue scroll? Looks like we got a collection log item with the black D'hide Tea, but the actual reward is only worth 184k. Granted, that is better than most of my other elites. Well, that is not the crystal I wanted to see, but we will take that, I guess. It's a collection log item and it's 50k, which isn't really a good loot, but I guess it's a crystal. Can't really complain now that I've gotten myself a Primordial Crystal. I don't know how to feel about this, but hey, I guess it's something. And we got ourselves another crystal, another Eternal Crystal. We will take that. Not the crystal I was looking for. I'm really hoping I can get myself a Smoldering Stone, but I'm not going to complain. A nice 1.6 mil after we've already gotten a Primordial this task and a Pegasian this task, which actually means I've completed every boot in this task alone. So pretty crazy tasks, if I must say so myself. There is the last kill of the Cerberus task. Unfortunately, we did not get ourselves a Smoldering Stone, though I don't think we could be too upset since we got ourselves an Eternal, Pegasian, and of course the Primordial Crystal this task. An amazing task. Let's go ahead and get another one. We got ourselves a Vampire task, so I'll probably just AFK some Virus, and let's hope we can get ourselves a Blood Shard. Unfortunately, I have to rebuy my Blisterwood Flail, and I believe it's like 40k, so rip 40k there. For those who have never killed Firewatch Sentinels before, they're extremely nice because they're super AFK as they never de-aggro you. They're always aggro to you. They're single combat, so that's one annoying thing. There's a altar right next to them, so you can infinitely restore your prayer. You take a little bit of damage, but that damage is restored. And just the normal drops are pretty decent. As you saw, I got a 9 Onyx Bolt Tip drops. That's a nice 73k there. And of course, there's always the chance of getting a Blood Shard, which would be like an 8 mil drop. Let's hope we get one of those. About halfway finished with the Vire task, and we actually got ourselves a hard clue. May as well do it. Who knows what we can get. Another hard casket. Maybe this one's gonna be pretty decent. And well, it seems like we got a decent amount of uniques at least. Bando's full helm and Zamark plate body. 138k. We'll take that. Oh my god, this guy left a Renar seed on the ground. Thank you very much. And we are finished with our Vire task. Unfortunately, we did not get a Blood Shard. We got that one hard clue and that Renar seed that we sniped from, I think, this guy here. Let's see what our next task is going to be. After completing the Vire task, I went ahead and got a new task, which ended up being Trolls, so I bought a cannon to expedite that task. After that, I ended up getting a Cuirass task, which I bought a Leaf-Bladed Battle Axe for, and at the end of that task, I ended up getting a hard clue, which we end up getting a Gothic plate body from. 54k loot, not too good, but time for another task. Well, this is pretty interesting, a little bit of deja vu from last episode. We got ourselves a Zora task, and if I remember correctly, you actually can't choose 35, but it looks like my memory is not correct, so we are going to go ahead and choose the max amount and get 35 Zora, as it is a very profitable boss. Unfortunately, to afford the gear that I'd like to for Zora, I will have to sell off the Jordans, but at least we got some use out of them. They served me well for as long as I've had them, but they have to go. A little bit of deja vu, but I repurchased some of the gear that I need for Zora. I do have to do one more buy session. This should be all the supplies I need for 35 Zora kills, so let's see if we can get any luck. I think we already used all our Zora luck, but maybe we can get something. Ah, yes. The Zora luck continues with the Onyxes. It seems like at Zora I mainly get Onyxes, but I will not complain about a nice 2.2 mil. We will take that. That is now our like 5th, 6th unique. I'm losing track here in 218 KC. Yeah, not too bad. There is the last kill of the Zora task, and it looks like we had double teleport drop. That's actually pretty decent, over 200k total from that kill alone. And we also got an Onyx's task, so hey, I am not complaining. 133 Dagganoth, so I'll definitely do the Dagganoth Kings. Hope to get myself a Berserker ring or an Archer ring. Can make a decent bit of money there. I also have the Fremenic Elite Diaries done, so I can get noted DK bones, so no matter what, it looks like I'll make at least a little bit of money. I decided to invest into a Cerdoman God Sword and some blood spells, as I want to try to complete this entire Dagganoth King task in one trip, so let's give it our best shot. Pretty early on in the trip, we got ourselves a hard clue scroll. I'll go ahead and collect that and try to still do a 1-kill trip, but if we end up not doing that, I'll do that hard clue scroll in between. Wow, that is something. We just got ourselves a Dagganoth pet, Dagganoth Prime. That is definitely something I did not expect to happen, but we will take that. That is really cool. Fun fact, I've actually gotten Dagganoth Prime on my main account, and now I just got Dagganoth Prime on this account. In my opinion, it's the best Dagganoth pet. Dagganoth Prime is like the leader. That is sick. That is such a cool pet, and I was not at all expecting that to happen. Wow, that's crazy. It's not worth anything for the series, but it's cool. That's awesome. I guess this little guy is going to be on me for this entire trip. Towards the end of our Dagganoth King task, and we actually got ourselves an Elite Clue Scroll to go along with our Hard Clue Scroll. We have 9 more kills to go, and it looks like we will finish it all within this trip. Here is the last kill of the Dagganoth task. Unfortunately, we did not get a ring, though I'm not exactly complaining because we got ourselves a new companion to follow us. This is actually the 9th pet on the account, so we'll go ahead and throw it into this nature house right here. And as you can see, I have 11 in here, but if we go ahead and throw our Dagganoth in there, we now have 12 pets rolling around if you include the 3 free ones. We also got ourselves a hard and elite clue from the Dagganoth King, so here is the hard casket. And it looks like we got ourselves Pisclarius teleports. about 100k reward, and from the elite clue, we get ourselves 71k, so it seems like our hard clues consistently are better than our elite clues. After that Dagannoth task, I got myself an Aberrant Spectre task, and I just got myself a hard clue scroll. And here is the casket, which we get ourselves an Armadyl Kite Shield as a collection log slot, but only 71k. And now we have a second hard clue scroll from this task. Another casket, which we get 107k, at least we're above the 100k mark. On to our next task here at Kuras, we're actually about to get ourselves an attack level. Up to 91 attack, that means we're only 8 levels away from 99, but XP wise, we're not even halfway there yet. We got ourselves a hard clue scroll from a superior. We'll take that. Take a little break from Karasks. Another hard casket. What's this one going to have? 48k. I guess I should probably expect that at this point. Our next task ended up being gargoyles, and toward the end of the task, I got myself another hard clue. Another hard casket. Not sure what to expect from these anymore. We got ourselves an Explorer backpack, and somehow we got 338k. That is what I'm talking about. Probably something to do with the Lumberyard teleports and maybe the Tybo One-Eye teleports. We will absolutely take that. And I'm starting to accumulate a lot of clue items, for example, like the Mystic Hat, Bone Spear, and all that. So I think in the future, I'll definitely start making some stash units. We got ourselves another Dagannoth task now. Looks like we're heading back to the Kings. Let's hope this time the Kings want to drop me some rings instead of dropping me a pet. Well, there is our ring, I guess, but that is not at all the ring we're going for. A Wear ring, the least value about all of them, but I guess it's a start. Maybe we can get some more of them. Another hard clue, you know the drill. Right after this task, we'll get that done. And there is the second clue scroll. We now have a hard and elite clue scroll, but like I said, you know the drill. I do want to finish this task first. There is a Dragon Axe. It's the first I've gotten in both of the DK tasks that I've had so far, and I'm actually almost finished this DK task, and yeah, pretty crazy. Hopefully in the last 28 kills we can actually get ourselves one of the valuable rings though. The last kill of the Dagannoth task, and unfortunately the only ring we have received is the Warrior. That's the task completed. With that task being completed, we now have an Elite Casket, which just has an Honorable Blessing, 80k. And our hard clue is worth 100k. Our hard clues seem to consistently be worth in our elites. We'll take it though. Next up, we have a Greater Demon task. I'd love to do some Zamri, but I actually think this is a perfect opportunity to do some in the Catacombs to hopefully get ourselves an Arclight. Unfortunately, no Ancient Shards from this task, but we did get a hard clue. And we got the hard casket, which we get ourselves a nice 101k, and I guess a collection log slot. I also haven't been updating you guys on how close we are on our goal of reaching 100 mil in this episode, so I'll go ahead and show you guys the bank at the moment where we're up to 90 mil. And when I said show you the bank, I'm actually not going to show you the full thing. I'm just going to show you that I'm about 10 mil away from our goal, because I do actually have a very cool loot tab, which does not have the primordial crystal that we got earlier because I did have to sell it, but it has everything else as I haven't been selling off much. And when we finish this episode, I'll be able to show you guys the loot tab and we'll sell that off. And here is the Slayer level to 94 Slayer. That means I am only 1 level away from Hydra. I'm not too focused on Slayer XP for this episode, really just trying to make money, but I've been doing so much Slayer, I ended up getting the Slayer level anyway. Another hard clue, what is this one going to have? It seems like we're getting a bunch of collection log items, so we'll take that, and 124k? Yeah, that's not too bad. Here we go, this is the perfect task I was looking for. 188 Black Demons. It means we're going to do Demonic Gorillas, and if we get ourselves a Zenite Shard, then that will be 100 mil completed. 188, that is definitely a good chance to get one. I really hope that I do. Very early into the task, we had ourselves a hard clue, but I'm really feeling these Demonic Gorillas, so I think I'm actually going to save the hard clue for the end of the task, and we can actually get an elite clue from these guys as well. Well, that's not exactly what I want to see. A light frame is quite a bit rarer than the Zenite Shard I am going for, but I guess we hit the table. Yeah, definitely would have loved a Zenite Shard there, but not much more I can say. Well, there's another drop, a Monkey Tail, a little bit higher in value, still on the table where it could have been a Zenite, so a little unfortunate there. 250k, yeah, I would have definitely preferred the Zenite. Alright, this is not even funny at this point. Ballista Limbs, height frame, and a Monkey Tail. If I get myself the Ballista Spring, I would have completed the entire Ballista without getting a single Zenite. That would be funny, but let's just get the Zenite, please. And there is that elite clue score I'm talking about. Same with the hard clue. I'll wait until I complete this task to do it. Well, that is the Demonic Gorilla task completed. Unfortunately, we did not get ourselves a Zenite Shard, though we hit the table quite a few times. We do have an elite and hard clue score to do, so let's go ahead and get that done. We have the hard and elite casket. Hard clue 189k. That's actually pretty decent for a hard clue. I doubt our elite clue will beat it, but maybe we can get lucky. We can get lucky. 234k, and we actually got a collection log item with the Musketeer pants. I don't think that's necessarily good, but 234k, I will not complain about that. We made a few mil in alcohols from the Demonic Gorilla task, so we are really closing in on that 100 mil goal, about 5 mil to go. And from an Abyssal Demon task, I could absolutely get that if I get extremely unlucky. I think I'd need like 3 whips in a single task, which is definitely possible, but like I said, unlikely. However, I've been very unlucky in the past at Abyssal Demons. I have gotten very few whips in my like 3,000 or 4,000 KC in this account, so maybe it can turn around here. Unfortunately, that was the last kill of task. We did not see very whip, we did not see very superior, and just for some reference, go ahead and throw up the log. I have about 4,000 Abyssal Demon kills, and if we go into the collection log, we only have 4 whips. Next up, we have a Dust Devil task, which isn't too relevant money-wise, but we are very close to 99 magic, and we will most definitely get it during this barrage task, so I'll take that. And here is the magic level with a superior Choke Devil as well. Nothing from the superior Choke Devil, but here is the magic level, 99 magic. That is the second 99 in this episode. Pretty crazy, but that is not at all the goal, but I'll take it nonetheless. Now all we gotta do is finish this task, only 37 more Smoke Devils to go. Well, we're back to where we started, 182 Hellhounds, and I would like to upload this video sooner than later, so this is going to be the last task, hopefully to make it 100 mil. If we don't make it to 100 mil, I'll probably cheat a little bit and do some Zora or something like that to get that 100 mil mark. So we'll definitely hit that for this episode, but this will probably be the last task I do. I don't need much in order to hit the 100 mil mark. In fact, maybe even an Eternal plus the normal loot I get from Cerberus for an entire task would be enough. If I get a Smoldering Stone, that'll 100% be enough. And obviously, if I get a Primordial Crystal, then yeah, that'll be enough as well. So let's hope for the best. 182 Hellhounds. I should get 1 crystal from that. Hopefully, it's one of the better ones. We got ourselves an Elite Clue Scroll very early on in the Cerberus grind. We'll take that, though I do want to continue killing the dog for at least right now. There it is, the stone I was looking for, Smoldering Stone. That is actually perfect. I am out of here. That is actually almost the perfect amount to get us up to 100 mil. I am not going to do any more Cerberus. I've had so much fun at Cerberus, and that actually completes the collection log as far as the crystals are concerned. That means I've gotten 1 of every crystal in this episode alone. That is amazing. Before we go straight into the loot tab, we did get an Elite Clue Scroll from the little bit of Cerberus that I did before I got the Smoldering Stone. So, what is going to be inside this Elite Clue? Could care less what it is because we got lucky already in this episode. 100k, honestly, like I said, at this point, could care less. Before I show you guys the loot tab, I do want to show you guys the loot tracker so you can see all the drops I got through Slayer in this episode. And as you can see, there's also the Clue Scroll rewards, and I'll just scroll through them very quickly. If you're curious about any single drop, just feel free to pause at any point during this scroll session and you'll be able to see that. Definitely the most notable drops were the Smoldering Stone and the Primordial Crystal I got from Cerberus, but I did get some other ones here and there like the Onyx from Zora. And as you guys can see, we have hit the goal for this episode. Our bank is now worth 100 mil with that Smoldering Stone drop. And as you can see, I have a tab here, which is all of the Slayer drops I obtained in this episode. I did have to sell off the Primordial Boots, and some of the rune stacks may be a little bit inaccurate because I've been using them and I've also been buying some as well. And also the cash stack is just right here, so any of the cash drops or alks that I had will be in the cash. However, with all that being said, I've looked in the loot tab. It looks amazing, so let me go ahead and show it to you guys. Scrolling up to the top, we did get ourselves Primordial Boots, which I again sold off. And as you can see here, some of the things are a little bit inaccurate, but it is mostly accurate. Got ourselves 2 Eternal Crystals there. And as we scroll through, we did eventually get our Pegasian Crystal as a notable drop. We did get that Onyx from Zora, which was quite big. We got a few DK drops, like the Rock Shell stuff and the Warrior Ring. Didn't get anything too special. We also got ourselves a Dragon Axe. We got a Leaf Bladed Battle Axe from Kurasks. We got a decent weird drops from Demonics. Unfortunately, we did not get a Zenite there. And as we scroll through, the final drop we got was the Smoldering Stone, which means we now have a 32.6 mil loot tab. Let's sell it off and see how much we actually make from the entire loot tab. We have sold everything off from the loot tab. I think it price checked at 32.6 mil, and if we check our cash stack, we're at 31.9, so we lost about 700k into selling everything in the loot tab. I'm actually curious, if I throw this in the bank, will we still be above the 100 mil mark? We will. So even after insta selling everything, looks like we are still above the 100 mil mark. So good thing we got a smoldering stone, and instead of like hitting the exact amount with like a few eternal drops or something like that. Super nice. We now are up to 57 mil cash, and we've kept a lot of the essential items. We still have our serpentine helmet and our blowpipe that we obtained in episode 2. We also bought a magic fang in this episode and a few other items like a colt. We bought our arums, carols, we got our ceridolman d'hide, and a lot of other good things. Even the fury we made ourselves, the ferocious gloves from episode 2. So I'm glad that we still are able to keep that and maintain a 100 mil bank. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of 0GP to Tumeken Shadow. If you're enjoying the series so far, feel free to subscribe. Only 15% of you guys watching are subscribed. It's free, and it's the best way you can show support for the series. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with the video. In the last episode, we got our bank value up to 100 mil, and it looks like it went down just a little bit, down to 99.9 mil. But in this episode, we are going to be focusing on actually unlocking a few money makers, rather than strictly making money ourselves. We will still be making money in this episode. In fact, we should be making quite a bit of money, but we are going to be focusing on unlocking different methods. First things first, I am one of those people who need an extremely organized bank in order to function, and for some of you guys this might look like an extremely organized bank. For me, I need it to be quite a bit more organized, and so that is what I'm going to start with. Now that I have a decent cash stack at 58 mil, I'm probably going to spend a decent bit of it just for items that I want in my bank that are going to be pretty useful, and the items I currently have, I'll try to organize them into tabs. So let's go ahead and get through all of that. After buying a few placeholders and organizing the bank, I think it's in a state where I can function decently well, and I'll just go ahead and show all the tabs to you guys. I still have a 49 mil cash stack, and then here's our combat tab. Went ahead and bought full Varrox and Guthans, as I feel like can be very useful in the future, and I just tried to get what best combat gear I can afford. Here's like my budget combat gear, not much here. Over time though, this will definitely fill up. Here is my food and potion tab. I had to buy a placeholder in Butte Heart, so I lost a little bit of money there. Here are my ruins plus cannon tab and whatever else you want to call it. Here is my teleport and achievement diary tab, and here is my skilling tab, where I did also buy a bottomless bucket, and I spent a decent amount of GP on a dragon pickaxe. Now that I actually have a bank, let's get into money making. I want to briefly touch up on birdhouse runs and herb runs. I saw this suggestion left in the comments, so I went ahead and bought enough seeds. Unfortunately, they do take a little bit to buy out, so I'll have to wait 4 hours there, and I bought enough logs to do 100 birdhouse runs and 100 herb runs. This will take a decent bit of time. I definitely will not be completed in this episode, but whenever I do finish doing 100 birdhouse runs and 100 herb runs, I'll go ahead and sell that off and show you how much I made within that time. Next up, I want to focus on buying battle staffs from Zaf. If you have the elite Varrock diary, you can buy 120 per day. I can only buy 60 per day until I get that done, so let's actually just go ahead and get the elite Varrock diary done. So fortunately for me, I actually have all the requirements to get it done. As you can see here, there's nothing I'm missing, so yeah, we can actually just get it done and unlock that. This should be the last achievement that I have to do. Let's go ahead and fletch ourselves some dart tips and then use some feathers on that. And there we go, that is the entire elite Varrock completed. We go ahead and talk to Toby here. We should get ourselves a very nice plate body. I believe this replaces the prospector torso, so that's very nice. It also has a lot of other good effects, but I don't really care about the effects. I'm here for the battle staffs. Now if we go ahead and try to buy battle staffs, we should be able to buy 120 instead of the 60 previous, making double the amount per day. If you're curious to the amount of money that you make on battle staffs per day, it ends up being around 80k, which may not sound like a lot, but keep in mind it takes me a few seconds and it can be done daily, so that is actually pretty decent. As for the antique lamp, which is 50k XP, I'm going to go ahead and throw that onto agility, which is going to tie into our next goal. The next moneymaker I want to unlock is the Hollowed Sepulchre Floor 5. Doing Hollowed Sepulchre Floor 5 gives you a chance to earn the Ring of Endurance, which is worth about 30 mil at the moment, so that would be a lot of money made if I'm able to do that. Unfortunately, it is 92 agility, and I'm currently only 80 agility, so that's just not going to be unlocked for this episode. However, I think what a good goal for this episode would be is 82 agility. That's still a decent build agility I'll have to do, and then what I'll do is in future episodes, I'll probably try to get at least 1 agility per episode, and eventually I'll be able to do the Hollowed Sepulchre as a money-making method. Here is 81 agility. Here is 82 agility. You know what that means? We have now unlocked the Hollowed Sepulcher floor 4, which like I said, I am not going to be doing, at least for now. Maybe I'll start doing some Hollowed Sepulcher floor 4 in preparation for floor 5, and that does mean I'm 10 levels away from floor 5, so I'm quite a bit away, but in future episodes, like I did mention, we will be working towards that. We also ended up getting over 60 crystal shards from this agility run. That's actually not too bad. It's like a 1 in 3 chance every time you do a course to get a crystal shard, and these can be turned straight into money, or I can be saving my crystal shards if I do eventually want to buy myself a Barrel Ferrodon and full crystal armor. Haven't made that decision yet, but it's very nice to stack them up nonetheless. Now that we have the farm runs and birdhouse runs rolling, we get 120 battle staffs per day, and we unlocked floor 4 of the Hollowed Sepulcher, and we'll be working towards floor 5 in future episodes. It is time to work on unlocking the last moneymaker I want to in this video. Honestly, the best moneymaker in the game, or at least the best consistent moneymaker in the game, that is going to be the Alchemical Hydra. In the last episode, we got ourselves 94 Slayer, and we even went a little bit past it, and we are only 650k to 95. That is still a decent bit of Slayer left, but I have no problem getting that done in this episode. We ended our last video on a Hellhound task. We still have 174 more of them to go. I think I want to put a fun challenge on myself for this remaining 650k Slayer XP. I once again saw this suggestion in the comments, and what I think I want to do is every task that I get that I can possibly do a boss task, I'm going to go ahead and do. Now Hellhounds I would have normally done Cerberus anyway, so I'm not really doing much here, but for example, if I get a Cow Fight task, I'll do KQ. If I get a Blue Dragon task, I'll do Vorkath. If I get a Great Demon task, I'll do Zami, so on and so forth. Any task that can be a boss task will be a boss task. With the money we made in our last episode, we can afford a decent few upgrades for Cerberus. I bought the Amulet of Torture because it's quite a bit more accurate and a little bit more strength bonus. The same with the Tacits, a little bit more strength bonus and actually a decent amount of defense bonus. And the Zamorak Costa has some defense and prayer bonus, and it's actually slightly worse DPS than the Bludgeon, but it can also train attack and defense, which are skills that I don't have 99, and since my strength level is already 99, I think I want to use it. With all of the upgrades we've been getting, we're slowly but surely starting to look like Chads. Let's see if Cerberus has any crystals left for me. I'm not sure if he does since we got so many in the last episode, but Zora kept giving in the last episode as well, even though we got very lucky in episode 2, so maybe Cerberus will keep giving here. No way, we actually got a second Primordial Crystal very early on in the task. Cerberus, you shouldn't have. Wow, I actually did not expect that at all. I'm actually speechless. I don't know what to say about that, but wow. Like, I think wow is the only thing I need to say. I still can't believe I got myself a Primordial Crystal. That is absolutely amazing. And I think I'm going to do what I did in the last episode. Just go ahead and use it as a gear upgrade since I'm already killing Cerberus and it is literally just a significant gear upgrade. Let's just go ahead and make myself Primordial Boots. A little bit of runecrafting XP helps. And if I looked like a Chad before, this is like a Giga Chad. That is absolutely amazing. Well, we got ourselves a elite clue scroll, first clue scroll of the video. I just got myself an emote clue and I was thinking about what to do with the stash units, and I think the best way of approaching it is just whenever I get an emote clue, just build the stash unit there and then I'll permanently be there instead of just buying them all at once and then making them, because I'd have to go all the way around Gillinor and it just seems like a waste of time, so I'll just do them as I get them. We got ourselves the elite casket. I saw this suggestion in the comments and I think what I want to do with clue scrolls is just open them all at the end of the video, so I'll just save this till the end, and if I get any more hard or elite clues or any clues for that matter, I will just save them for the end. And a few kills later, after my first elite clue scroll, we got another one. And we just got our third elite in like 20 kills. I guess we'll take that. Okay, this is pretty funny. It's not worth a lot of money, but I had to kill a basilisk for an elite clue step, and the one kill that I do, I actually got a Mystic Hat Light on the collection log. I think it's like a 1 in 512, so again, not really worth anything. I just thought it was funny. Nothing too special here unless we get lucky. Unfortunately, we did not, but that is kill number 1000. Not all of them were done within this series, but 1000, that's a pretty cool milestone. And there is the final kill of the Cerberus task. We did get ourselves a Primordial Crystal. I was going to say, unfortunately, we didn't get anything else, but I can't really complain. That's the best drop I can get. Very, very happy about it. Well, I think this technically counts as a boss task. I will choose Jad instead of Zuck because I don't feel like I quite have enough gear for Zuck at the moment, but in the future, I actually wouldn't mind doing a little bit of Zuck. Unfortunately, I'd like to pick up an Anguish and an Archer Ring for this Jad task, so once again, the Primordial Boots will have to go. And there is the Jad task complete. I always like Jad tasks because they give you so much Slayer XP in such a short amount of time. Our next task is 216 gargoyles, and normally I would just kill the little ones, but gargoyles do actually have a boss, so I'll be doing that. And I also have gargoyles extended 216, so this is going to take a decent amount of time, but the XP per kill is actually pretty decent. I think you get like 1.4k XP per kill, so this should be about 300k XP, something like that. It's going to be pretty nice. First time doing Grotesque Guardians in a while, and we already got ourselves a personal best. I imagine we're going to get quite a few of those. Well, apparently I got a Grotesque Guardian speed trial list because of how fast I did the kill. Really not that fast, I'll definitely get a lot better PVs. There's the Grotesque Guardian Adept challenge completed. Hey, there is 97 range from Gargoyles, struggling a little bit here, but that is very nice. We got 99 magic and 99 strength in the last episode, and now I guess we're working towards 99 range. There is another Grotesque Guardian speed task completed, the Speed Chaser. Here's the combat achievement for 50 KC at Grotesque Guardians. Hey, there's a unique from the Grotesque Guardians, the Granite Hammer. Fun fact, you can actually smash the Grotesque Guardians with a Granite Hammer instead of a Rock Hammer. So maybe I'll start doing that. Very cool unique, not really worth much, only 100k, but it's still cool to get. And the kill after I got the Granite Hammer, we get ourselves an Elite Clue Scroll, a little bit of break from the Grotesque Guardians. Hey, there is another unique from the Grotesque Guardians. Granite Gloves. Again, Grotesque Guardian uniques aren't worth a lot, I guess, unless you get the Tourmaline Core, but it's still cool to fill out the collection log. There is the Granite Ring. I think that is all the Grotesque Guardian uniques except for the Pet and the Tourmaline Core. However, they are all pretty common except for the Pet and the Tourmaline Core. We do have quite a few left, 138, so hopefully we can get the Tourmaline Core and maybe even the Pet. Perfect Grotesque Guardian. I'm not sure how I haven't gotten that yet, but we'll take that. Actually, I think that's getting 5 in a row perfect, so yeah, we'll take that. And we get another elite clue right after we got that combat achievement. Oh, we got ourselves a second granite hammer. Again, not really worth much, but I guess it's worth more than your average loot from the Grotesque Guardians. We'll take it. There is 93 attack from the Slayer task. We got 97 range earlier in this task, so it's pretty cool getting 2 levels in a single task, though this is a very long task. Well, there is another pair of granite gloves as well. And there is our third pair of granite gloves. And I guess we're getting our third granite hammer as well. I guess best of things come in threes. And that's the drop I was missing. The Black Tourmaline Core. Very close to finish with the task, only 4 left. We will take that, an extra 2 mil added to the bank, and that's basically the Grotesque Guardians completed, except for the Jar, which is a 1 in 5k, and the Pet, which I believe is a 1 in 3k, so I don't think I'll ever get one of those, but very nice to get the Black Tourmaline Core. And there is the entire task completed. It says I only gained 209k XP, but I definitely gained around 300k because I got like 1.5k per kill. Very, very happy to get this task done. This took me like 10 hours to complete, so it really puts into perspective how long these videos take. Now we are only 150k away from 95 Slayer, so let's see what our next task is going to be. Our next task ended up being another worm task, and we got ourselves another hard clue. After the worms, we got ourselves an Aberrant Spectre task with another hard clue. Few kills after our first hard clue scroll, we already got ourselves a second. After that Aberrant Spectre task, it looks like we're going back to the Jad. We're only 100k away from 95 Slayer, so we're really getting close now. There is another Jad task completed, another 25k Slayer XP, we'll take that. Well, it looks like we are finishing off this 95 Slayer at Ye Olde Faithful Cerberus. I really would have liked to do some other boss tasks, but Cerberus is a very high weighted task at Duradel, so it is what it is, 137 Hellhounds. I really don't mind doing some more Cerberus though. And there it is, 95 Slayer. That means I can finally kill the Alchemical Hydra, a boss that I've actually never killed on Oldschool Runescape. Wow, that is actually amazing. I'm super excited about that. I'm very, very anxious to actually try the Hydra, but unfortunately, that is all I have really time for in this episode, so I'll be doing Hydra in the future, but not in this episode. I mentioned previously in the video I'd like to save all of my caskets for the end of the episode. In this episode, I got 5 elite caskets, 4 hard caskets, and 1 beginner casket just from doing a birdhouse run. So we'll start with the beginner and see if we get anything from that. That's about what you should expect, so let's open a few hard clues now. 105k, not too bad. 66k, 241k with Morton teleports being unlocked. I will absolutely take that. And our last casket, 70k. So nothing too special there, but let's get into our elite caskets. For the elite caskets, we have ourselves 91k, 209k plus a master clue scroll. Very curious if I'm actually able to do this. I will definitely attempt it. I did manage to complete the master clue. Unfortunately, I had to buy myself a crystal bow, so I lost about a mil there. Let's go ahead and finish opening the elites and we'll get to the master. 2 more elites to go. And our final elite clue scroll. Unfortunately, nothing special there, but maybe the master has something. We got a collection log slot. I got a little excited there for a second, but only the peaceful blessing. 358k though, that is not too bad, and that was actually our first master on the account, so you got to be pretty happy about that. Next up, I want to go ahead and show you guys the loot tracker and the loot tab from Slayer in this episode. We'll go ahead and show you the loot tracker first. We have the clue scrolls up there first, and then as we scroll down, as you see, we got very lucky at Cerberus to get the Primordial Crystal, and then the biggest one was the Dusk. We had a lot of kills there, ended up making a decent bit of money. As you can see, 16.4 mil in the loot tab, and that does not include the Primordial Crystal, which we got early on in this episode. And if we go to our total bank, we are now up to 140 mil bank. However, I do want this to be a bit more accurate, so let's go ahead and sell off the loot tab and see what we get from that. After selling off the loot tab, we are left with 16.4 mil, so it looks like that was pretty accurate. And if we throw that into the bank, as you can see, like I said, pretty accurate. 140 mil ending this episode off. Not too bad considering we started with 99 mil, so we made a total of 41 mil in this episode. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of 0 GP to Tumekens Shadow. Starting this episode off with an agility level. Like I said in the last episode, I'll be slowly working toward the Hollowed Sepulchre floor 5, and 83 agility is a good start. Now before we get started with this episode, I want to thank you guys for the support on the last episode and this series. I'm closing in on 8,000 subs, and our subscriber ratio is now up from 16% from 15% in the last episode, so I just wanted to let you guys know that I really appreciate the support. At the end of the last episode, I asked you guys to vote which raid you would like me to do for this episode, and a lot of you guys voted, and it seems the majority of you guys wanted to see the Chambers of Xerix. This actually surprised me quite a bit, as I thought for sure the Tombs of Amascut would win, but that's exactly why I left it up to a vote, because I kind of wanted to be surprised. So for this episode, we'll be spending some time at the Chambers of Xerix. Before we head over to the Chambers of Xerix, I first want to get an agility level, and this isn't only because I want to work towards the Hollowed Sepulchre, but 84 agility will actually help me at the Chambers of Xerix slightly. Run Energy Restore is based off your agility level, and at the Chambers of Xerix, Run Energy can actually be quite relevant. Here's a chart which showcases different run restore times at different agility levels, and as you can see, 84 agility is a little bit extra run restore. Now the difference is quite minor, but since I'm training agility anyway, we may as well get that extra level. And here we are with 84 agility. That means now for the Chambers of Xerix, I'll have slightly more run regen. We're working towards the floor 5 of the Hollowed Sepulchre. We also got ourselves 2150 total, so I think that's pretty interesting there. And from doing this agility at Prifdis, we're getting quite a few crystal shards, 281. I think if I were to turn that into divine potions, that'd be a decent amount of money there. Though, like I said, I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with the crystal shards, but that is all I want to do with agility for now, so let's make our way to the Chambers of Xerix. Before we actually get started with the Chambers of Xerix, I will have to swap some gear around, as I currently don't have a Dragon Hunter Lance. I would like to use one, and I definitely need a Dragon Warhammer, so let's go ahead and sell some stuff. Before I actually buy anything from the Grand Exchange, I do quickly want to mention this plugin that We Do Raids has in their Discord. You can pretty much type Chambers of Xerix gear and then your bank value, which currently mine is 145 mil, and they'll pretty much build a pretty decent setup with the bank value that you have for you'll be rolling with Chambers of Xerix. Now I will take some creative liberty and make my setup a little different than what they show here, but this is definitely a great starter, especially if you don't know too much about Chambers of Xerix. Just type your bank value or type as much as you want to spend on Chambers of Xerix, and they'll build a pretty decent setup for you. For starters, I went ahead and sold my Bandos Tacit, Amulet of Torture, Zamorakian and Hasta, and Archer's Ring. At first I was going to keep the Torture as I thought I can get away with keeping it, but after looking at the We Do Raid setup, I actually do think I can get away with using a Fury instead, and I can use that money to make better upgrades. Got ahead and bought a few items that are going to be very useful at the Chambers of Xerix. Obviously the Dragon Hunter Lance, insanely useful, Dragon Warhammer is almost a must, and the Dragon Crossbow is going to be very nice for the final phase of Ulm. There is one other item I would like to buy, which is the Tormented Bracelet, but I cannot buy that with a currently 5 mil cash stack, so I'm going to really scrape together as much as I can inside my bank to try to get the 14 mil cash. We'll see if I can make it. Okay, I have sold off a lot of stuff that is very useful, but unfortunately not very useful for the Chambers of Xerix. Hopefully that'll get me around a 14 mil cash stack. It looks like we are just at 14 mil, so hopefully I'll be able to buy this Tormented Bracelet. And after spending pretty much all of the money I have, down to 4.8k left in my cash stack here, we have a Chambers of Xerix setup, which I'm pretty happy with. It's actually quite fun trying to min-max with the money you have. I'm quite enjoying this series because of that. Just being very limited on money and not being able to afford the best setup is quite fun, but I feel very comfortable with the setup I have. I'll go ahead and showcase it to you guys. The melee setup that I'll pretty much be running the head with is following, and then I have this range setup here with the blowpipe as well, and then I have this following mage setup. One I am very comfortable with, and I'm very happy with what I've been able to afford, though it has been very close on money. Let's get started. Now, when it comes to the Chambers of Xerix, I'm actually quite excited to be returning here because my luck here has not been the best. If we go ahead and head to my collection log, as you can see, I have 80 completions, pretty much all solo, and I have only gotten one drop in my name, which is the Arcane Prayer Scroll. I think you should expect a drop every like 1 in 30 raids, so to only have 1 in 80 KC is quite unlucky. It gets a little bit more unlucky if we go ahead and open the sidebar here, and you'll see I've gotten 50 kills recently and hadn't received a single purple in my name. All 50 of these were solo KC, and as you can see, 1.44 million points without seeing a single purple. So hopefully here I should be able to get one within this session. I think I'm going to do about 20 solos for this video and see how that goes. If we end up getting nothing within those 20 solos, I may decide to do more, maybe solos, maybe group PVM. Not too sure about that, but I definitely want to get 20 done and see what happens with that first. Now, I've also seen some comments expressing their concern that if I were to get extremely lucky and get something like a Twisted Bow from the Chambers of Xerix, it would kind of ruin the series, and I do agree that that would absolutely ruin the series, that I would basically finish the series if I were to just get a Twisted Bow from the Chambers of Xerix, or if I start doing some Tombs of a Masket and get myself the Tumeken Shadow right then and there, the series would be complete and I wouldn't have really progressed so far. I would have just gone from 145 mil all the way to the end goal. In order to combat that, if I were to get lucky here at the Chambers of Xerix and get myself a Twisted Bow, though I don't think that will happen since I've already gotten 2 Twisted Bows on my main account in a very short amount of KC, so I really don't think that's going to happen, but in the off chance, the 1 in 1000 or whatever the odds of me getting a Twisted Bow are, if I do get a Twisted Bow, I think for the longevity of the series, to make it the most fair, I will not sell the Twisted Bow. I will allow myself to use it because I shouldn't be punished for getting a Twisted Bow. That would be just a little unfair on my side, and I think it would make for great content and to make money using the Twisted Bow but not being allowed to sell it. So if I get a Twisted Bow, my bank value for the series for the Tumeken Shadow will not go up at all. I'm curious of what you guys think in the comment. If you guys have a better suggestion or a better way of approaching that, please let me know. But again, this is the off chance I get a Twisted Bow, and like I mentioned, it's probably not going to happen, but hopefully this isn't the case where I say something and it happens in the next clip, because that does seem to happen quite often. Before we finish our first KC at the Chambers of Xerix, I quickly want to show off the 3-0 mage method and the 1-0 melee method, as I've had a few viewers reach out to me saying they're struggling with the Chambers of Xerix, especially solo, so hopefully I can somewhat help a little bit showing off these methods. I'm definitely not the best place to go if you're looking for these methods. I highly recommend watching Wook's or Sync's guide, as it's very extensive, but I will do my best to quickly explain both of those. For the mage and melee methods, I'll be explaining each while doing the method in the background. For the 3-0 mage method, you want to start on the far right tile I have marked in this video. Feel free to pause at any time if you need to see exactly where the tiles are located. Then you want to attack Olm's right hand at the same tick Olm's head turns towards you. This will take a bit of practice, as if you're just one game tick late, you will get hit, but learning it is well worth it. After clicking Olm's right hand, you want to walk one tile to the left of the middle tile I have marked, and then you want to try to get another attack in on Olm's right hand. After you attack for the second time, you want to make your way anywhere in between the middle tile and the far right tile for your third attack. After you attack for the third time, make your way back to the starting tile and repeat the process. It's as simple as that, though it does take a lot of learning. If you manage to splash your first attack on the 3-0 cycle on Olm's right hand, there's a chance Olm's head won't completely turn towards you. If that happens, there are ways to work around it, but for simplicity's sake, just pretend that it turned completely and continue the 3-0 cycle and you'll be completely fine. For the 1-0 melee method, it is quite a bit more simple. You want to start one tile left of the middle tile. Just like with the mage method, you want to attack Olm's left claw the same tick Olm's head turns towards you. Once your character attacks or you see the XP drop, you want to run to the far right tile. Once your character arrives at the far right tile, make your way back one tile left of the middle tile and repeat the process. If I can give one tip for this method, I wouldn't rely completely on the XP drops, as there is always a chance that you can hit a 0. Now that I've shown you guys the basics of solo Chambers of Xerix, let's go ahead and get into some loot. And there is the first raid completion of the episode. As you can see, it is a white light, so unfortunately nothing special there. And don't look at the kill time, that is not accurate, as I was doing some stuff with the Oculus Orb, so the kill time took a little longer than it should have. Probably would have been about a 30-minute raid. However, the normal rewards that you get from the Chambers of Xerix aren't too bad. 458k from our first raid, that's pretty decent, you know, that's actually not too bad. I probably spent less than that on the raid, so we'll take that. Okay, our third raid completed, and we got ourselves an elite clue from this raid. Surprisingly similar to our first raid with 450k reward, but the elite clue, yeah, we'll take that. KC number 85, and we got ourselves a second elite clue scroll. I guess we'll take it if we're not going to get any purples. Yes! Finally, we have broken the dry streak. I have no idea what is in this chest. It could be the twisted bow. It could be anything, but we have got ourselves a purple light. I haven't seen a purple light in 70 KC. This is our 70th KC since we have seen the purple light. Whew. I've actually remembered to hide the private chat. I sometimes forget to do that. This is exciting. Very, very exciting. I am going to click on the ancient chest now. Please just do not be an augury scroll. I'll probably literally take anything else, even something not so good. Oh my god, no way! We got ourselves a twisted bow! What? What? Oh my god, I just got a twisted bow. Oh, what? 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 I cannot believe this! Oh my god, what? Well, I cannot believe it actually happened. I even made a clip before I started the Chambers of Xerix that if I got a twisted bow, I would not be allowed to sell it, and of course, I'll stay true to that word. I think it's the best way of approaching this. I absolutely did not think this would happen. This is like 1 in 960 was the odds from that raid to get a twisted bow. I ran the odds there. That's crazy. I cannot believe that. And I've even mentioned I've gotten 2 twisted bows before. One wasn't in my name, but like I got a split for it, and I have like 500 KC on the main, and we just got ourselves our third ever twisted bow in a solo raid. That is absolutely crazy. I genuinely cannot believe that this has happened, but it is not going to count towards the series money-wise, so we haven't really made any money from raids. This twisted bow is going to basically be seen as an untradeable. It's just going to help me make money in the future, but it's not actually going towards anything. I think that is the best way of approaching it. If you guys have another way of approaching it that seems more fair than that, let me know in the comments, because I'm actually lost for words and not sure how to approach this 100%. But I do feel like just keeping it as an untradeable is probably the best way of approaching it. Plus, I kind of want to keep it anyway. I kind of have some sentiment to it that, like, a solo twisted bow, that's never happened to me before, so I don't even really want to sell it. It's just kind of a cool special item, so I think that's the best way of approaching it. However, I think now I want to go for the back-to-back purple, since we just got this one. We still have 3 raids left in order to hit 20 raids for this episode, which will give us up to 100 total KC, and look at that in the collection log, the nice received 1 twisted bow. That's amazing. Before going to the back-to-back, of course, I do want to use the twisted bow, so let's just go ahead and sell off this dragon crossbow. We will not need you anymore, and I will gladly take the extra money to invest in some dragon arrows now that we have the twisted bow. And I was actually running decently low on supplies like Sarah Brews and Super Restores and stuff like that. I was actually a little worried that I'd have to sell the small loot tab that I've put together from the raids, but now that we have another 1.3 mil, we should be fine. Unfortunately, we do not get anything in the back-to-back, but we still have 2 raids to go, and obviously I cannot complain after getting a twisted bow. So yeah, let's get these last 2 raids done. And there it is, the final raid completion of the video, KC number 100 on the account. I have no idea if I have gotten myself a purple or not on this raid. Let's check it out. Unfortunately, it is a white light, though I really shouldn't be saying unfortunately, because we actually got ourselves a Twisted Bow on 97 KC. It is the only purple I've seen in the last 73 KC, but it is the best purple to see by a long shot. I am still in disbelief, even as I just did my last KC there for the video. The Twisted Bow wasn't the only item that I got from raids. I got 2 elite clue scrolls, which I showed. I also got 4 beginner clue scrolls from doing birdhouse runs. I have no idea why I'm getting way more beginners than I am everything else, but it is what it is, so I have that to open, and here is the loot tracker for those curious. As you can see, 1.24 bill, absolutely crazy. That's pretty much the entirety of the Twisted Bow. The other loot is worth about 5 mil. In fact, I have it in the bank right here. I can go ahead and show it to you guys. There is the entire loot tracker, and if we take out the Twisted Bow, nice 6 mil. That's not terrible. I did spend a few mil on supplies, but I think even without the Twisted Bow, I made a few mil. But yeah, the Twisted Bow is the main point of interest. And after selling off all of the loot that I got from the Chambers of Xerix, excluding the Twisted Bow, we are left with a nice 6.5 mil. That really isn't great considering the time spent, and assuming I didn't get that last drop that I ended up getting. I did spend a few mil on supplies, so in total I would have made around 4.5 mil if I didn't get that one rare drop. So a little unfortunate, but we still would have made money. I guess it is still a W as terms of bank value, so it's something. Like I mentioned, I did get 2 elite caskets and 4 beginner caskets, so let's go ahead and open those now. Beginner, about what you should expect. I'm hoping I can get maybe 1 or 2 uniques, that'd be super nice. Unfortunately, no uniques from the beginner caskets, but maybe the elite caskets can show up. And we get ourselves Holy Wraps. That's actually a decent drop. They're worth about 500k, so, you know, from an elite clue, that's actually not too bad. And our second elite is going to actually contain a master. So 2 elite clue scrolls were actually very good right there, so let's try to attempt this master and see what happens. Fortunately, we were able to complete the master clues, so let's see what we got inside of it. 341k and apparently a collection log slot with the ancient page 4. That's not too bad. It's about your average master clue. Honestly, cannot really complain about anything in this episode. Now let's see where the bank is after this episode. It is going to be quite expensive, up to about 1.4 bill, but of course that is including the Twisted Bow. So if we take away the Twisted Bow, our bank value is now up to 147 mil, which is an increase from last episode. Last episode we ended with 140 mil. Some of the money has been made through the clue scrolls, the Chambers of Xerix normal loot, and I actually made a little bit of money keeping up with my farm runs and birdhouse runs, and I'm excited whenever I finish the 100 birdhouse and 100 farm runs to show that to you guys. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of 0GP to Tumeken Shadow. We're starting this episode off with 85 agility, slowly working toward the Hollowed Sepulchre floor 5, and this is a great start because with 85 agility I can actually use a Summer Pie to boost to 90 agility and do the Ardorian rooftops. So let's go ahead and grab some Summer Pies and head to the Ardorian rooftops. Now that I can complete the Ardorian rooftop, I think one thing I want to do is go ahead and complete the Ardorian Elite Diary. The biggest reason I couldn't complete it before was the 90 agility. It is a extremely hard task to get, but if we go ahead and check the achievement diaries and check the Ardorian, we actually have the requirements for everything now other than the 90 agility, but we already boosted for that. So yeah, I think that's one thing I want to get done. I'll get a nice 50k XP lamp so I can put that in agility and get 86 a little bit faster. I have completed all other diary tasks except for creating the Ruinite crossbow from scratch, so using this sinew or whatever it is on the crossbow should complete the elite Ardorian diaries. Very nice, but the main reason I'm doing this actually is just to get the extra 50k agility XP, because going from 85 to 86 agility is like 350k XP, so I'd like a little bit of a boost. 2 pints give me my Ardorian cape 4, and I think the cape is actually pretty decent stat wise. It's like really good prayer bonus and stuff like that, but like I said, the main reason I'm doing this is just for the little bit of extra agility XP. 50,000 XP is a lot. It's like an hour's worth of agility, which is pretty insane. I also think you get some extra marks of grace having the Ardorian Elite Diary completed, so that's nice, I guess. Before we finish up with 86 agility, I want to thank you guys again for the support. Around 18% of you watching are now subscribed, and if we could possibly hit 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year, that would make me extremely happy. I've also read all of your comments, and it seems most of you like the idea of keeping the Twisted Bow as an untradeable item for the series, so I think that's what I'll be doing. I should mention I won't lean heavily on the Twisted Bow to make the 1.5 bill I need for the Tumeken Shadow, as I have a lot of ideas for different moneymakers, such as the Hollowed Sepulchre, which I'm currently working towards. However, for this video specifically, I will be leaning heavily on the Twisted Bow, just to really test it out. I've never had an account with a Twisted Bow and rigor, so I'm actually pretty excited to see what it can do. The agility levels are taking longer and longer, but there it is, 86 agility. Now we are only 6 levels away from the Hollowed Sepulchre, but that is enough agility for this episode. I'm ready to have some fun with the Twisted Bow. Now I don't want to stall the fun with the Twisted Bow for too long, but I went ahead and checked my bank, and it is worth quite a bit more than when I ended my last episode at 147 mil. I have been doing some herb runs and some birdhouse runs, so that has added a little bit to the bank value. But the biggest thing is Dragon Hunter Lance has been going up quite a bit, which is actually quite fortunate for me as I don't really need it anymore. I've already done Vorkath, and I am not going back to the Chambers of Xerix, so I think I'm going to sell this off and rebuy some of the Zenites I'm missing. And would you look at that, I have sold the Dragon Hunter Lance for nearly 52 mil. In the last episode, I bought the Dragon Hunter Lance for I think 39 mil. Nice 12 mil profit minus the tax, so probably around 10 mil profit. Not bad at all for an item that I needed anyway. With the money I made from the Dragon Hunter Lance, I went ahead and rebought all of the Zenites I was missing, rebought all of the Dagonoth King rings I was missing, and I rebought all of the D'hide pieces I was missing that I had to sell off in the last episode. Let's go ahead and collect that, and now we can go ahead and have some fun with the Twisted Bow. First boss we'll be trying out with the Twisted Bow is Cerberus. I've spent a lot of time here in the past, but I still have 43 Hellhounds as a Slayer task, so why not give it a go? I've used Twisted Bow here in the past on my other account, but as I've mentioned earlier, I've never done it with Rigor, so let's see how much that really changes things. Before we get started, here is the gear and inventory I'll be using for Cerberus. There is a 77, that is the highest hit we've seen so far. These kills happen so fast I can't even really see what the actual max hit is. Whatever our max hit is, it's definitely over a 77, which was really cool to see. There it is, the max hit. I figured it was a 78, I was hitting quite a few 77s, and I was like, this is really taking some time, so I figured it was a 78 that we can hit, but that's pretty amazing. These kills sometimes take less than a minute, and sometimes I kill it even before the ghost spawn. Twisted Bow is quite cracked here, but I am using dragon arrows, which is quite costly, so maybe in the future I'll downgrade to amethyst arrows as I am trying to make money. And there is the Hellhound task completed. I did not get any crystals this task, or maybe I did get it this task, but not from this session. A little unfortunate there, but I did only have like 40 kills. Didn't make much money here, but let's head on to our next boss. The next boss I want to test out is Zulrah. Another boss I spent a lot of time at, but with Twisted Bow, it is a completely different fight. Instead of bringing a magic switch, I can just use Twisted Bow the entire time, and sometimes our kills are even faster than they would have been if I did bring a magic switch. I think I'll spend about an hour here as I've already been quite lucky at Zulrah, and I probably shouldn't expect a 7th unique. Once again, I do want to showcase what I'm using before I get started. No prayer potions or anything like that because I'll be teleporting home after every kill, and it does save some money, which is the whole point of the series. Now Zulrah is quite interesting because your max hit is reduced to 50 no matter what, so I did decide to use amethyst arrows instead of dragon arrows. If you ever roll over 50, it just goes to 45 to 50, I believe. Kinda unfortunate that's like that, but I won't lie, it would be pretty OP if you could T-bow Zulrah like 80s and stuff like that, so it's probably a needed thing. But even with your max hits being reduced to 50, there's still a really good chance you kill Zulrah extremely fast. I think you can kill it within like 40 seconds if you just get the right RNG. So I am going to try to go for some personal bests here. Speaking of personal bests, this might be one. It was super close to being an extremely fast kill. Super close to the personal best as well. It definitely could have been an under 1 minute kill. This might be the personal best. And it is. It had so much potential to be quite a bit faster. I got Zulrah down to like 20 HP like 10 seconds ago. It would have been nice to get a sub 1 minute, but that's the power of the Twisted Bow. Okay, this should be the personal best for sure. Maybe under a minute. It's going to be close. 102, not quite under a minute, but we are getting new personal best with the T-bow, and we have the potential to get quite a bit faster than that. And we have finished our last kill of the hour. It was a pretty rough kill, and definitely the longest I think I've even ever had at Zulrah, 5 minutes. Don't ask how that happened, it was just disgusting RNG. All in all, we get 23 kills in the hour, and made 2.5, 2.6 mil within that hour, without even getting any uniques from Zulrah, so Zulrah is still very good money even if you don't get uniques. The next boss on the list is the Giant Mole. For some reason, Mole has a magic level of 200, which makes Twisted Bow quite good. I've also heard kills are extremely fast, respawn times are short, and it's really good money alongside being one of the faster pets in the game. Just like Zora, let's give it an hour and see what happens. Here's the setup I'll be rolling, or should I say moling, with for the giant mole himself. One small thing I find funny is how our helm slot keeps changing as we change boss. Not that it really matters though. I should also note I've killed very little mole, as I've never had an account with the Falador Hard Diary before this one, so it should be a bit easier than before. So I'm not sure how many people know about this, but apparently you can also just safe spot the mole and it's completely fine. I think he still digs if I do too much damage to him, but very interesting because I was not aware that you can literally just safe spot the mole like this. I guess not too many people kill it with range, or at least they didn't used to. It's like DH meta, so very interesting. And apparently the mole drops elite clue scrolls as well, even though it's one of the easiest bosses in the game. I was not aware of that, so I guess we can start with an elite clue scroll. Hey, I just got 2 combat achievements, Hard Hitter and Giant Mole Novice. I think one is 10kc and one is for hitting the mole, so that's quite nice. And I just got another task, Whack-A-Mole. I don't even know how I get these combat achievements or even what this is, but guess we'll take it. And we get ourselves the Giant Mole Champion. I keep getting baited by these task completed things, thinking I got the pet or something like that. If you're not aware, the Giant Mole only has 3 things on the collection log: the mole skin, the mole claw, and the pet. So every time I see a pop-up, I'm like, oh, did I get the pet? But that would be a little too lucky because I've already gotten 9 of pets on this account. This is going to be my last mole kill of the hour. Are we going to get the pet? Unfortunately, we are not, but can't really expect one. I think it's like a 1 in 3,000. I will say though, doing the mole was a lot more chill than I thought it was, and 74 kills within an hour, that's quite insane. I knew it was quite a lot, and you guys may have already known it's about that much, which I just didn't know that myself. If we go ahead and throw everything into the price checker, it gets even more insane. This is like 1.5 mil an hour, not including supplies, because I did use quite a few dragon arrows, but I could easily substitute it for amethyst arrows. That's insane. 1.7 mil from mole. It does require using a twisted bow, but if I ever went pet hunting in the future, this is definitely a candidate. That is quite amazing. Another classic boss up next, the one that started them all, the King Black Dragon. Twisted Bow is very interesting at the KBD because unless you're flicking an anti-Dragonfire shield, you could take up to 15 damage from Dragonfire, even with Protect Magic and an anti-fire. Because of that, I probably won't spend an entire hour here, but I do want to at least test it out because the Twisted Bow can still perform quite well here. Again, the helm slot is changed, downgraded all the way to the snakeskin bandana and hides of the monster I'm about to kill. I'm hoping for the best here. I believe I can take up to 60 damage if I don't have Protect from Magic up, so let's just hope we can do a few runs without dying. And there is our first KBD kill of the trip. Thinking about it, I kind of forgot that KBD has a Dragonfire effect that drains your stats, so maybe bringing Divine Potions wasn't the best idea. Even with Divine Potions though, I just hit a 61 there with my stats being drained to 104 range, so Twisted Bow definitely does slap on KBD. Yeah, that Dragonfire breath is brutal. This is going to be like a 6 kill trip. Okay, there's a combat achievement. I keep getting like baited with these combat achievements, just like with Mole. I thought I got the pet or something. I was looking around and I was like, I don't see a pet on the ground. Gosh, these combat achievements, maybe I should turn those off or something, I don't know. I guess the fact that KBD drains your food so fast doesn't really matter because by the time I run out of food, I'm pretty much a full inventory of hides and bones anyway. Not that they're worth a whole lot, but if I'm going to run out of food, may as well pick it up, make a little bit of money. And I think that is going to be my last kill of the KBD. That is a medium combat achievement, getting 25 kills at the KBD, which is quite nice. Did my character just like do a spin there, or did I just see something weird? I'm not sure about that one. But there is one final boss that I do want to test the Twisted Bow at, which is Commander Ziliana. In my opinion, one of the most iconic places where the Twisted Bow shines. I wanted to do this one last as there is potential to get an Orbital Crossbow and a Ceridon hilt, which would make a lot of money for the series. I'm also very inexperienced at this boss, and I saw a really cool method which I think is quite known, but a very cool way to do Commander Ziliana, which I want to show you guys. Of course, before we get started, I want to show you guys the setup, and I do also want to show you one other thing, and it's that Twisted Bow is not only good at Commander Ziliana, but it's also good for getting KC, as the Spiritual Mages have quite a high magic level because they are Spiritual Mages, and I'm able to hit over 50 if I have Rigor on without even using a range potion. So if you're looking to get KC with a Twisted Bow and you do not have an Ecumenical Key, I highly recommend just killing these Spiritual Mages with the Twisted Bow because it works out quite well. Now, the method I wanted to show you guys for Commander Ziliana is with the Blowpipe and Serphelm. If you bring both of them, you have a 100% chance to venom your target if you hit. So before killing Commander Ziliana, I shoot all 3 of the minions with the Blowpipe, and as I'm killing Commander Ziliana, all of the minions slowly die to venom. By the time Commander Ziliana is dead, the minions are at half HP and sometimes even lower than that, which makes the trips a lot more convenient. And there is the first kill of the trip, 73 KC, so that is a very nice, the Bodhi integer, and I'm actually dying quite a bit here. Let me make sure I actually don't die. I really like the strat of venoming all the minions and just letting them die throughout the kill. It makes cleaning them up quite easy. Should be the kill. A shield left half, really? From Commander Zilliana? I'm not even sure if I want to know how rare that is. I think the rare drop table on this boss is quite hard to hit, if I recall correctly. Maybe I'm completely wrong about that. Yeah, I'm not too sure how to feel about that one. That's an interesting drop. That was close there. Are you kidding? That's a joke, right? That is my second hit from Commander Zilliana at 83 KC. What? That's the second pet. That's not the first, that's the second. Wow. I don't know what to say, but wow. This RNG on this account for pets is disgusting. Oh, there's a big hit, a nice 69. Nice. A magic seed from Commander Zilliana. I don't even know what drop table that is. If that's just normally on the drop table. I've never seen a magic seed from Commander Zilliana. Granted, I haven't done too much as Commander Zilliana, but geez, a magic seed? I don't know what my drops are here. We get a shield left half, a pet, and then a magic seed. Crazy. Oh, that's a big hit. A 73. I think that's the max I've seen, and that was pretty much full potted, so 73. Of course, the Bodhi Integer, one of the best hits you can see. And we get a Ruined Spear off of that kill as well. Isn't that rare drop table as well? Gee, I don't know what's going on. Unfortunately, I do have to teleport out here, so looks like we are ending it on 99 KC. I really would have liked to get, a nice 100 KC, but it just wasn't possible. 6 brews, 0 restores, it is what it is. Very interesting trip since I did get a duplicate Zilliana pet, a shield left half, a Ruined Spear, a magic seed, all in all very interesting to say the least. That is all of the bosses that I wanted to test the Twisted Bow out for this episode. However, I did get a elite clue scroll from Mole, and I even got an easy clue and a beginner clue from my birdhouse runs. So let's go ahead and start with the beginner clue. No uniques yet, but maybe the easy clue has something. Unfortunately, no. Maybe the elite? 405k, that is good, and apparently a new collection lock item with the Charged Dragonstone Jewelry. Not too special there, but the 400k from an elite is definitely above average, so we will take that. New collection log item, not too bad. Now, although it's not much, we did end up making some money in this episode, specifically in the loot tab. We have about 5 mil in the loot tab, so let's go ahead and sell it off and see what it actually is. After selling everything off in the loot tab, we end with 4.6 mil, so let's go ahead and throw that into the bank. We end up with 1.44 bill, but that is with the Twisted Bow, so let's go ahead and take that out, and we end this episode with 174 mil. I believe we ended the last episode with 147 mil, and my math isn't too great, but I believe that's a 27 mil profit in this episode. Most of that did come from the Dragon Hunter Lance flip, which is quite nice, so I'm very happy about making money there. I've definitely made some money with my birdhouse runs and my farm runs, so that's also good there. And we did make a few mil just doing some nice PVM with the Twisted Bow. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 7 of 0GP to Tumekens Shadow. Starting this episode off with 87 agility, that means we are only 5 levels away from floor 5 of the Hollowed Sepulchre. Before we get started with this episode, I want to thank you guys as always for the support. We're closing in on the 10,000 subscriber goal I have for myself, and if you could do me a favor and help me get 1 subscriber closer to that goal, I'd really appreciate it. I've also purchased a higher quality mic for recording. I still need to play around with the settings a bit, but hopefully the sound quality should improve going forward. And there we are, 88 agility. That is definitely enough agility for this episode. I spent like 10 hours running around this Arduino course. Now let's go ahead and prepare for the boss of this episode. The boss I'll be killing for this episode is the Corporeal Beast. I'll be killing him solo and I'll be speccing his stats down to 0, which I'll showcase a little later on. I want to do at least 100 kills for this episode, and maybe, just maybe, we can get lucky on a sigil. I want to also mention, at best, I'm getting 5 kills per hour, so this will be at least a 20-hour grind. Before we start killing the Corporal Beast, I do need two items, a Bando's Godsword to lower corpse stats to 0, and a Zamorakian Spear to actually kill the Corporeal Beast, and unfortunately with 24 mil I don't have enough money to buy both of them, but with the Marks of Grace that I got doing the Ardoin Quest, that should be enough to buy enough Amylase Crystals, sell those off, and maybe, just maybe, I'll have enough to buy both the Bando's Godsword and the Zamorakian Spear. Okay, this has nothing to do with the series, but if you look in the chat, this person just said, I have DFS pick, kind of want the pet from KBD, and literally the next kill they got the King Black Dragon. That's some rare RNG, like even for me, I'm the person who calls everything, but this is like disgustingly, so yeah, you can see how the chat's reacting to that. I feel like that is worth a shout out. I have sold off all of my Amylase crystals, so if we go ahead and collect that, a nice 3.5 mil there, and if we go ahead and take our cash stack out, a nice 27, close to 28 mil, I do think that'll be enough to buy both. Let's just go ahead and find out. We had just enough money to buy the Bando's Godsword, a Zamorakian Spear, and we had a little bit extra money, so I went ahead and purchased 6,000 cannonballs since I will be using that to kill the Dark Core. Now that I have all that, let's go ahead and gear up and start killing some Corporal Beast. I ran into one small snag, but luckily it does have a solution. In order to lower corpse stats to 0, I need an arc light, and unfortunately I do not currently have one. If you've been watching the series, you'll know that, but there is a solution. We can get the dark light from the Varrock Palace, and then after getting the dark light, if we go ahead in this tab here, I've already gotten 2 ancient shards from doing Slayer throughout this series, and I've also gotten myself on a complete dark totem. When I started this series, I had 24 dark totems and 1 dark totem base. Now I have 25, so this dark totem was entirely earned throughout the series. So I'll go ahead and kill Skotizo once with the twisted bow that I have here, and then after killing Skotizo, it'll 100% chance drop the ancient shard, which I can use to make the arc light. One Skotizo kill done. Apparently I got an elite combat achievement. Not at all sure what that combat achievement is, but it doesn't really matter. I forgot you actually get a guaranteed hard clue scroll, so that's pretty good. So we'll have one done at the end of the episode. But most importantly, we got ourselves the ancient shard, so we can now make ourselves the dark light. I'm pretty sure I said make a dark light in the last clip, so that is absolutely wrong. Let's go ahead and make an arc light. There we are. We can now go ahead and start killing some Corporal Beasts. Before we get our first Corporal Beast kill, I do quickly just want to show you guys the gear and inventory I'll be using to kill the Corporal Beasts. And I also want to show the method I'll be doing, as some of you guys may have never killed the Corporal Beast, and I find this method actually pretty interesting because I'll be lowering all of its stats down to 0, and a very, very smart way to kill the Corporal Beast, especially if you're a solo player. First thing I do when starting a Corporeal Beast kill is hit 3 Dragon Warhammer specs, as it'll lower the defense and make the special attacks I'll be doing next much faster. Next up, I hit the beast with 20 Arclight specs, which reduces his attack, strength, and defense all the way to basically nothing. And after the Arclight specs, we end with 200 damage worth of Bando's Godsword specs, which lowers the Corporal Beast's magic level all the way to 0. After all your special attacks, it's basically like killing a level 1 chicken in Lumberage, but it has 2000 health instead of 3. There's also a core mechanic, which I'll go over here, but before I do, I just want to clarify it's 3 successful Dragon Warhammer specs, 20 successful Arclight specs, and 200 damage worth of Bando's Godsword specs. During each kill, a dark core will spawn. To deal with the core permanently, it needs to be killed in transition from one spot to another. In order to do this, I use a cannon to attack the core as it's jumping. You'll know when the core is dead once you receive 50 range XP from your cannon. You also know if the core is dealt with correctly if you receive an Ash Drop. If you do not receive an Ash Drop, the core will not respawn. Now that I've gone over the mechanics so you can do some Corporal Beast yourself, let's see how lucky we get with our 100 kills. There we are, the first Corporal Beast kill of the video. Unfortunately, I could not lure the core correctly, but it is what it is. Nice 55k. The good news about Corporal Beast is pretty much every drop is worth a decent amount of money. Sometimes you can get some really bad ones. I think Pure Essence is on the drop table, and that's not really great. But most drops are actually quite good, and it also has a very common drop, or at least a rare drop, if I'll call it that, of Onyx Bolts E, which are worth like 1.5 mil every time you get them, so it's very, very decent. Our second Corporal Beast kill of the video. I moved the cannon around a little bit, so it should be a bit easier. But hold that thought, because we actually just got an elite clue on our second kill, so we will definitely take that. Let's go ahead and do the elite clue scroll, and we'll head back to Corp and continue killing. Hope to get that, Elysian. Kill number 3 of Corporal Beast. I decided to start bringing a Crystal Halberd just in case, and I think that's quite rare to hit the rare drop table, get 5 Rune Javelins and an Uncut Sapphire. I don't really know Corporal Beast's drop table that well, but it looks like we did hit the rare drop table. Post-production Nick here, and we did hit the rare drop table, which is about a 1 in 43 chance to hit, and this is not the only time we'll be hitting the rare drop table. Well then, that is the first death of the entire grind. I didn't think I would die at all. Very, very interesting, I suppose. Oh, look at that. Our first unique of the corp grind at 21 KC, we get ourselves a spirit shield. That is the first component that I need. Hopefully we can get a holy elixir and maybe a sigil as well, and then we'll actually go ahead and make ourselves a spirit shield. That'd be very cool if we were able to do that throughout this corp grind. There we go. We got ourselves the Corporal Beast Veteran task, but not only that, but we got one of the better drops you can get from the Corporal Beast, the 2000 Cannonballs. I think that's like the second best drop you can get other than the sigils, the elixir, and stuff like that. The best drop getting that's a common drop would be the Onyx Bolt tips. I haven't seen any of those yet, but I am at 25 KC. Maybe we will see an Onyx Bolt drop sometime soon. Hey, there is another Cannonball drop. Still haven't gotten an Onyx Bolt tip drops. Really looking forward to one of them. I hope I at least get one Onyx Bolt tip drop throughout this entire grind. You know, the dream is to get the sigil, but to be honest, just a nice 1.5 mil drop. It's a little bit of money. I'll be making money no matter what throughout this grind since there is no real supply cost, but it would be nice to make the nice 1.5 mil from a corp kill. Hey, there we go. We just got ourselves a 94 attack from specking down the Corporal Beast. Not actually from a kill, just by specking. I've actually gained a lot of XP, not only in attack, but also defense just by doing this. Since the spear has to be in shared XP and it has 2000 HP, you end up getting quite a bit of XP. Hopefully we can actually max at least our attack level before we get ourselves the Tumeken Shadow, so when we take on the 500 Invocation Raid, we have the best possible accuracy. And another cannonball drop. I will not complain about those. We will definitely take that. Hey, there we go. Another spirit shield. I think they're a 1 in 64 drop rate, so getting two within 38 KC, yeah, that's pretty cool. It's not really worth too much. I think it's only worth around 50k, or I guess 60k, but it's still very, very cool drop to get since it is a 1 in 64. Hey, we just got ourselves 50 KC. I did start with 7 KC, so I have done 43 so far in this video. We got ourselves another cannonball drop. I think that is our fourth one. As you can see in the chat, we have the stackable interface there. And that is also our 50th KC, and so that's very nice. So we get ourselves a Master Combat Achievement. I do think that means I have all the combat achievements for Corporal Beast, which is quite nice. But I still have a lot of Corporal Beast to do because I am doing at least 100 KC. There is the third Spirit Shield in 56 KC now. That's pretty nice. I think I'm up to 49 KC for the session, so our next kill is going to be kill number 50 for the session. Ow. There is like my fifth cannonball drop. I kind of lost track at this point. I still haven't seen a single Onyx Bolt drop, which is kind of unfortunate since I think they're about a 1 in 25, and we're now 59 KC. Well, then, what is that? I have never seen something like that. I rolled the rare drop table like, what, how many drops is that? 7, 8 times? And one of the times I get myself an shield left half? That is crazy. I don't know if that's like a certain drop rate or what. I've never seen anything like that. Post-production Nick here again, and here is where it gets interesting. You have a 12 in 512 or a 1 in 43 chance, as I stated earlier, to roll the rare drop table on Corp. And when you do roll the rare drop table, you get 10 rolls on the rare drop table. As you can see on screen, the chance of one of those rolls being a shield left half is a 1 in 175,000. So I ended up getting one of the rarest drops from Korf, even considering that the rare drop table is rolled 10 times. I thought it was pretty interesting, even though it's not worth too much. I just wanted to share that with you guys. There it is, the one drop I really wanted to see, the Onyx Bolt E. This drop is worth about 1.5 million. And I was a little worried I wouldn't see one throughout this entire corp grind. We're already up to 81 KC, and if we go into our loot, we're up to 74 KC for the session. So 26 more KC to go, and we should have seen like 3 of these so far, but it's okay. We just saw our first one now. There is like our 6th cannonball drop I think I've gotten so far in this corp grind. Kind of unfortunate I'm not getting many Onyx Bolt tips drops, or I guess the Onyx Bolts drops, not actually the tips. I've only gotten one so far, so very, very unfortunate there, but I guess I can't really complain about 6 cannonballs drops as they're still worth quite a bit. Here is our 100th kill at the Corporeal Beast, and we get ourselves a nice Runite ore drop, one of the better drops we've seen so far. And here is the final corp kill number 100 for the adamant bars. Unfortunately, we only got one Onyx Bolt drop and we saw no sigils or an elixir, but that is okay. I couldn't really expect the sigil elixir, but I really did hope we made a little bit more money from the Onyx Bolts. I should have gotten around 4 Onyx Bolt drops, which would have been around 6 mil, but unfortunately only one means I only made 1.5 mil from the Onyx Bolt drops. Let's just go ahead and show you guys the loot tracker. 9.2 mil from the 100 corp kills, not too bad. We did also get ourselves a medium clue scroll from our birdhouse runs, a hard clue scroll from our Scotizo kill, and we did get an elite clue from corp, so let's go ahead and open those and see what we end up getting. 43k from a medium, honestly that's not too bad. From our hard clue, 24k, so somehow our medium is better than our hard, that's pretty rare to happen. And then from our elite clue, 237k with 37 lumberyard teleports. You know what? I think I can take that. Here is what our loot tab is looking like after the 100 corp kills. Now some of the loot is spread out throughout the bank, so I'll go ahead and grab that and sell it off and see how much we actually made cash wise from corp. Unfortunately, from those 100 kills at Corporal Beast, we did not even make ourselves 10 mil, only a 9.1 mil cash stack. I really was hoping to make at least 10 mil from those 100 corp kills, but sometimes you are unlucky. I've gotten quite lucky in the past few episodes, so I can't complain too much, but these last 2 episodes I haven't really been making too much money. As we go into the bank here and deposit our cash stack, we're up to 1.45 bill, but of course that's including the Twisted Bow. Taking away the Twisted Bow, we are at a 190 mil bank, which means we've made around 17 mil this episode, which is still quite good, don't get me wrong, but I definitely would have liked to make more, so I think in the next episode I'll be going for a boss that makes a little bit more money than the last bosses I have been doing. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 8 of 0 GP to Tumeken Shadow. As always, starting with an agility level, and I think I'll only be going for one agility level for this episode, as they're starting to take a long time. I won't be spending too long on the intro here, however, you know I have to at least mention subscribers once, so if you're not already subscribed, please do so. It will improve your RNG in this game. One thing I do want to mention before I get into bossing for this episode is the goal for this series, the Tumeken Shadow. Recently it's dropped down quite a bit to 1.1 bill, so it makes obtaining one a bit easier. All this means is I'll be able to obtain one quicker, and if I were to imagine, it'll probably be below 1 bill by the time I can actually afford one. The boss I'll be doing for this episode is the Alchemical Hydra, the highest level Slayer boss in the game at 95 Slayer, and also the most consistent moneymaker in the game up to 5 mil an hour. Now, I've never actually killed the Hydra, as this is my first time actually having 95 Slayer, so this is definitely going to be an experience for me, but first and foremost, I do have to get a Hydra task, as you do need to be on task to kill the Alchemical Hydra. Now, fortunately, in order to get myself a Hydra task faster, I do have quite a few Slayer points saved up, and I will be able to use all of them for skipping. I have nothing really I want to unlock with the rest of my Slayer points, but not only that, I am also extremely close to my 100th task, and I'd like to make my 100th task Hydra, so I think I'm going to do 3 tasks here at Turiel, and then we'll try to get our 100th task as a Hydra task. We are now up to 99 tasks completed. I really hope it doesn't take too long to get a good task. I will be doing like any short tasks that I can get done, and maybe even good tasks I'll do. I haven't really decided on that, but I mainly want to try to get Hydras, and the only place I can get Hydras is from Konar, so please, can we get lucky on the first try? Unfortunately, we cannot, and I'll probably skip this, and let's see how long it takes to get a good task. Well, it's not quite Hydra, but 3 Ruined Dragons, that shouldn't be too hard to do at all. There is our 100th task completed, and you actually get 500 Slayer points. I didn't realize you get that much, so that is really, really nice. Hopefully with 986 Slayer points, I should be able to get at least one Hydra task, maybe? Yes, we did get ourselves a Hydra task, and it took a lot longer than you think. I had to do 2 more Adamant Dragon tasks because I'm not going to skip Adamant Dragons. They only take like 5 minutes to do, so might as well do them. But if we go ahead and check my rewards, I am down to 126 Slayer points. So that is quite insane that it took me that long to get one Hydra task. It even says here, task canceled, 40 plus 1 Ruined Dragon task, plus 2 Adamant Dragons, so 43 tasks, or 44 tasks if you include the initial one, to get myself a Hydra task, and it's the highest weighted task you can get from Konar. What I probably should have done is maybe blocked something like worms, since I believe worms are quite high weighted. I do have Drake's block, so that's really good there. We got Hydra, so I'm not going to worry about it for now. Maybe after this task, I'll have to figure out a better way of getting a Hydra task. Maybe I'll have to resort to tutorial skipping. We'll figure that out, but for now, let's go ahead and get started with the Alchemical Hydra. However, before we get started, there is one thing I want to purchase for the Alchemical Hydra, and that is Bracelets of Slaughter. Basically, what these do, they have a 25% to not count towards a kill on your Slayer task. So let's say I kill Hydra and I have 190 on task. 25% of the time, I'll still have 190 after one kill if I am wearing a Bracelet of Slaughter. I don't know if I'll just main hand these the entire time since I will be using range and I can't really afford something like a Zarek Vambrace. So we'll figure that out when we get there, but let's try to form a setup. And I've never done Hydra before, so this may be a bit interesting. One more thing before I get started, I think I want to use the Ring of Suffering for the Alchemical Hydra, so I am going to uncharge my Salve Amulet now that I'm pretty much done with the Chambers of Xeric since I've already gotten myself a Twisted Bow from there, so I probably will not be returning just in case I get even luckier for the next time. So let's go ahead and imbue our Ring of Suffering, and now we have 20 defense on everything, plus 4 prayer bonus. I feel like that should be pretty good. Here it is, the setup I am going to start to kill Hydra with. I can't stress it enough, this is the first time I've ever killed Hydra, so I don't know what is good and what is bad, and things will most likely change. But that being said, let's just go ahead and see how our first kill goes. Well, there goes the first death on the first try. That was a lot harder than I thought I would. I didn't even know if I can get poisoned in the fight. Yeah, I actually didn't think I'd die that fast. Wow. Yes, I did it! The second try, I completed the Alchemical Hydra. Best kill, 229, Mystic Staff, Chaos Runes, 2 Hydra Bones. I have no idea if that's good or not, and I should definitely be doing more than 1 kill per trip. However, I definitely want to get rid of the poison, and I think you can do it without getting poisoned, but I think to start out, I should definitely bring an anti. And all in all, like, that was really solid, and luckily, the Bracelet of Slaughter did proc, so I still have 190 on task. There it is, the second kill on task. What are we going to get from this one? Ooh, we get ourselves an Elite Clue Scroll, and if I remember correctly, on our second kill at the Corporal Beast, we actually got ourselves an Elite Clue Scroll, so I guess the second kill of every boss we've been doing recently has been very lucky. There is our third kill. We just got ourselves the Flame Skipper achievement. I believe that's by doing enough DPS, we completely just don't do the flame phase, hence the name Flame Skipper. We're definitely getting better at this, but I still need to learn how to like lure everything properly. It's definitely a learning experience, but I'm actually quite enjoying Hydra. Fifth kill, the Alchemical Hydra, and we got ourselves a very good drop, a 400k drop. We will definitely take that, and that's also a 3 kill trip, which is my new personal best since I only have 5 kills total. Definitely getting better at the Alchemical Hydra. Eventually I'd like to shy away from the Dragon Arrows since they are so expensive, but they do mean I can kill the Alchemical Hydra a little bit faster. I think it's better money-wise if I do use Amethyst Arrows, but for now, as I'm learning it, I will continue to use the Dragon Arrows. Oh, we got ourselves another combat achievement. Oh, what? Are you kidding me? This is 7kc, 6kc, what? 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 That's Alchemical Hydra pet. What? I was just talking about the combat achievement. I just got the pet. What? That's like the coolest pet, 8kc. I just got an 8kc Hydra pet. That's my 10th pet. What? What? Dude, this is busted. This account is absolutely busted. It's one of the coolest pets. Oh my goodness. I can't even be too loud right now because it's so late. But oh my goodness, 8kc Alchemical Hydra pet. I am so sorry if anyone's looking for this pet. I was not looking for this pet. Oh, that's so cool. Oh my god. Wow. I don't know what else to say. Just wow. Well, that was absolutely crazy. Let's just go ahead and show the collection log. 1 out of 11 for Hydra. The first thing I get is the pet at 8kc. I don't even know what the drop rate of the pet is, but it'll probably be on screen now. It's probably like a 1 in 3k, 1 in 4k, one of the rarer pets. I cannot believe it. I still can't believe it. The pet is in my house, and yeah, I just don't believe it. We got all pets. We have 10 pets now. Duplicate pet of the Commander Zilliana. Yeah, I just lost for words. Hey, there we go. We got ourselves a combat achievement from the Alchemical Hydra. We got the Speed Chaser. I think the fastest time you have to go for is either a 120 or like a 110. 135 already at only 10 KC. I feel very confident about that. Not only that, but there is a lot in that kill I can improve. So definitely looking forward to see how fast we can get it at the end of this video. Hey, we just got another Master Combat Achievement, the Alchemical Hydra. I think that means just doing everything perfectly. I skipped the Flame. I also didn't take any damage from Lightning, and I don't think I took any damage from Poison, so I assume that's what I did. Not too bad. Hey, there is level 98 range. That means we are only one level away from level 99, the big level there. And you actually get quite a bit of XP from doing the Alchemical Hydra, so I have a feeling we might be able to get 99 range in this episode. We just got a collection log item, the Mystic Robe Bottoms Light, or Robe Top. I don't know which one was the collection log. Looks like the bottoms if I can actually read here. Not too bad. I think you can get them from another monster like Krasks or something. I can't actually remember. In fact, I think that's where you get the top. Don't even know where you get the bottoms, but we'll take it since you get them from the Alchemical Hydra as well. We just got a combat achievement mixing correctly. I'm not even sure what that is, nor do I really care. I'm assuming that means I got all of them in the correct little pool and never like overdid it or something like that. Honestly, not too sure, but hey, a nice combat achievement, I suppose. There is a Brimstone Key from our 44th Hydra kill. I keep forgetting that I'm actually on a Konar task, so yeah, I can get Brimstone Keys every time I do a Hydra task, so that's kind of nice. They're worth a decent bit. I didn't think average Brimstone Keys like 100k, so yeah, we'll take that. New personal best, and we also got a 50 Onyx Bolt drop. I think that's literally the max quantity you can get, so one of the best drops you can get other than a unique. Well, that is a rare drop. The Jar of Chemicals from the Alchemical Hydra. So I've already gotten the pet and the jar, which are usually some of the more rare drops you can get from these monsters. I definitely think that's rarer than the claw, so very interesting that we've already gotten both of the pet and the jar now. We just got another combat achievement working overtime. I'm assuming this combat achievement means getting a certain amount of kills per trip, and this is actually going to be my last kill per trip. Actually, I got a shark drop, so I'll go for another one, but I've done a lot of kills this trip. So the working overtime achievement is 15 kills without leaving the room, and I think we got up to 17, and what are the other two? Kill the Alchemical Hydra of 10 HP and a 120 kill. So I might be able to get this one if I continue using dragon arrows. I did buy a few extra with the money I've already made from Hydra. Well, there's an interesting drop. I've never seen that before. 3 spirit seeds. I can turn those in for farming contracts, so they'll be worth a decent amount of money. Very interesting drop. I've never seen 3 drop by any monster at once. I've gotten 2 from demonic gorillas, but 3, that's very interesting. Hey, there is a unique from Hydra at 126 KC. We got ourselves the Hydra's Eye. If you don't know, there's 3 pieces of the Brimstone Ring, and this is one of them. If I get all 3, I can make myself a Brimstone Ring, but I don't think I'll get it this task. However, getting our first is definitely a good start. Hey, we just got ourselves another combat achievement. I forgot I wasn't recording there, but we did get ourselves the Alchemical Master combat achievement, which means I just got myself 150 KC. There's only 2 combat achievements now that I have not completed, which is the Grandmaster task of a time of 120. I do think I can get that eventually. I'm just going to need some really good RNG on my T-bow hits, but it is definitely doable with the Twisted Bow. And then the final combat achievement will be going for the 10 HP or 9 HP Derek kill, which maybe I'll go for if we end up getting the personal best of 120. Oh, we got ourselves a hard clue scroll from Hydra. I didn't even know that Hydra drops hard clues. I got an elite clue earlier, I believe. So yeah, we'll take that. Wow, that was a fast kill, a 123. I thought maybe, just maybe, we'd be able to get the Grandmaster Combat Achievement. Unfortunately, only 3 seconds off, but we did get a Brimstone Key that kill, so I'll definitely take that. And just look how many supplies I'm end up getting. This might be an extremely long trip. No way I just died with all that loot on the ground. Dude, I lost like 500k or something there, if you include like the 100k I have to pay. Oh my god, I got distracted. Oh, that's a big rip. There goes a little bit of profit I could have been made. I wasn't even paying attention, but there is a 99 range on one of the last kills of actually my Hydra task. I only have 2 kills left. Luckily, because of the Bracelets of Slaughter, I've ended up getting over 250 kills in this task. As you can see, this is 252, or I guess 253 right here. Very nice. I can't believe I went all the way from 97. Granted, I was basically all the way to 98 to 99 range in a single task, and that is with Slaughter Bracelets, so it's not really a single task, but still crazy how much XP you get here at Hydra. And another 99 knocked off the list. A very important 99 for me to get, as it will definitely help me with the 500 invocation Tombstone Mascot. And there is the last Hydra kill of the task. Are we going to get lucky? Unfortunately, we are not, but we've already gotten lucky quite a bit on this task, so there's no complaining from here. And now let's actually see how much we've made from all this Hydra, including the Brimstone Keys, which I think I'm going to go ahead and start with because we actually got a lot of them. I definitely did not record every single Brimstone Key that I got. Throughout the 254 kills I did, I got 9 Brimstone Keys, which I do believe is above average, and hopefully we can get something good from these Brimstone chests. I don't even know what the best loot is. It's probably like 5 dragon fruit seeds or something along that lines. So I guess I'll just spam open them. There are some uniques you can get. They're like 1 in 200, but they're not worth a whole lot. So it's not really too notable thing to talk about there. Just 2 more chests open. Getting a lot of runite ore, which is really good. Ended up not getting anything too special, but we go ahead and throw it into the price checker. We made a nice 645k. We didn't just get Brimstone Keys, we got ourselves a beginner and an easy clue from Birdhouse runs, and we also got ourselves a hard and elite casket from the Hydra. So I'm going to start with the beginner clue. Unfortunately, no uniques yet, and we go into our easy clue. We actually do get a unique, Black Fullhelm Tea. We'll take whatever we can get. And from the hard casket, we get ourselves some dig site teleports, so 164k, that is above average. We will take that every day of the week. And our elite clue, 115k, again, over 100k, that is not too bad. Before we head into the loot tab, I want to go ahead and showcase the loot tracker. Apparently, I forgot to reset my elite and hard clue scroll loot tracker, so there's a little bit of extra loot there. But there's our easy beginner, the 9 brimstone chest we did, and the 254 alchemical hydra, which apparently made us around 28.4 mil. Not too bad, but I did have to bury a lot of the hydra bones, so probably a few mil less than what is showing here. And I guess the hydra eye is technically worth like 1 mil, since brimstone ring is worth like 3 mil, and I only got one of the pieces. If we scroll down through, we also have 8 adamant dragons, 3 rune dragons, crawling hands, and the cave slimes that we use to boost to 100 tasks. Here is the loot tab from Hydra. We ended up saving about half of the Hydra bones, and things like blood runes and death runes fell into another tab. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is sell off the loot tab, and I'm also going to go ahead and sell off the amount of blood runes that I got from Hydra. For example, I believe if we open up the loot tab here, we got 7576 blood runes. So I'll sell that off plus what everything I have in the loot tab, and we'll see what our total amount of profit is from Hydra. After selling off everything in the loot tab, we end up with a little bit under 21 mil. I think the biggest reason why the price is so different than the loot tracker, as you can see here, 28.4 mil, is not only the Hydra bones, but Hydra has a decent amount of alkables, and whenever I had alkables, I would alk them, and then it would go straight into my cash stack, and then my cash stack would go straight back into dragon arrows, and I probably spent a good 5 mil-ish on dragon arrows. They're quite expensive right now, I assume because of Tombs of a Masket, but let's just go ahead and throw our current cash stack into our bank, and we're now up to 1.48 bill, which I think is the highest my bank value's ever been worth. But of course, we need to take out our twisted bow, which makes our bank value now 217 mil. And I believe we started this episode with a bank value of 197 mil, so we made a nice 20 mil. I definitely would have liked to make more from Hydra, though I can't really complain since I got myself the rarest drop from Hydra, the Hydra pet, the second rarest drop from Hydra, jar of chemicals, and we also got ourselves one piece of the brimstone ring, the Hydra's eye. Thank you guys for watching this episode. Sorry it's been a bit longer in between videos. Hydra took a little longer than I expected, and I've also been decently busy outside of RuneScape, so I hope you guys understand. We did also end Hydra with 99 range, so we may as well grab the cape. There we are, 99 range, which I believe also acts as an Avalos Assembler. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 9 of 0 GP to Tumekens Shadow. As always, starting off with an agility level up to 90 agility, so we're really closing in on floor 5 of the Hollow Sepulchre, which I might end up doing in the next episode. In this episode, however, we're going to be focusing on clue scrolls, specifically easy clue scrolls, which I'll be gathering from hand members. For those who don't know, hand members, when pickpocketed, have a 1 in 50 chance to give an easy clue, which can become 5% more common with the completion of the easy combat achievements. I unfortunately don't have the combat achievements completed, however, I'll be gathering 500 easy clue scrolls, which is quite the time sink. I'll easily spend over 24 hours here doing easy clues, but I believe the payoff will be worth it for the content and quite literally the payoff, as the expected value of an easy clue scroll is 60,000 GP. So let's get into it. Before I get started with the 500 easy clues, I'm going to go ahead and fill all of the easy stash units, as I'll most likely get every easy clue step throughout this grind. If we go ahead and check our stash chart, we can see these are the stash units that I'm missing, so let's go ahead and fill all those. Well, that was quite a bit more annoying than I thought it'd be, but this should be the last stash unit. Let's just go ahead and head to my house and see if that's actually true. Yep, there we are. All easy stash units completed. I think there was like 28 of them, so it actually did take a decent bit of time since most stash units have like 3 items and you have to build all of them, which is 2 planks and 10 nails. So it was quite a process, but I'm glad to have that done. However, there is one more thing I want to do before I start doing my easy clue scrolls, and that is buy some teleport items, specifically the Ring of the Elements, as it has a teleport to all of the free-to-play altars being air, earth, water, and fire. And there's actually quite a few clue locations that are around those altars, so this should be very handy for completing easy clues. Now that we have the stash units and the Ring of Elements, it is time to get started with collecting 500 easy caskets. And one good thing about ham members is they have the option of dropping a few ham clothing, such as the boots, the logo, and the cape are all worth over 1k. So if I get any of those pieces from the ham members, I'll probably collect them and see how much we make from those as well. This is going to be a long grind. Up to 10 easy caskets now, and I thought might as well collect these stackable items as well, like the arrows I have here, feathers, needles, and thread that you get from the ham members. I just figured it would be very interesting to see how much of each item that I can get at the end of the 500 caskets. We're now up to 100 easy caskets, only 400 more to go. And you also notice in my inventory, I've got myself a hard casket. I've been catching all the implings I've seen around, and one of the ninja implings actually gave me a hard casket, so I'll have that to open once I have 500 easies. We're now at 150 easy caskets completed, and if you actually just check the chat, I got myself a mystery random, and from that I actually got another hard clue from the box, so now we have 2 hard clues to open at the end of the 500 caskets. Up to nearly 400 easy caskets now, and the more I'm doing this, the more I'm actually learning, and I've actually learned you can lure one of the ham members that you can pickpocket inside this first room here. The door always stays closed unless someone comes in here and open it, so it's a lot faster for me to just go in here, get my easy clue, and then teleport out. It actually saves quite a bit of time. I can get nearly 20 clues an hour if I get good steps and good RNG, so very, very nice. There we are. 500 easy caskets acquired. This has taken me a lot longer than I thought it would, but I am happy to get this done, and this is going to be a lot of fun to open them all. Before we start with the opening of the caskets, I do just want to showcase the thread, the needles, the feathers, bronze arrows, and steel arrows I got from pickpocketing the ham members. It's not worth a whole lot, but I guess an extra 100k that I would have dropped otherwise. And then also I got an extra 1.5 mil in the ham hoods, logos, cloaks, boots, and gloves. But the real money is going to come from the easy caskets, which I guess we can start opening now. But let me just go ahead and show you guys what I got from 25,000 ham members there. And like I told you guys, I was actively hunting the implings, and then I also accidentally opened a few easy clue scrolls just as misclicks, and you can see my misclicks are actually quite expensive, so this is actually going to be 502 easy clues, and from just the first 2 easy clues we've already made 375k. Let's get into opening the 500 easy caskets. If we do get ourselves a master clue scroll, I will attempt to do it, and I should be able to do most steps, if not all steps. If I'm not able to do it, we'll talk about it when that time comes, but for now, let's just go ahead and get started. And our first clue is worth absolutely nothing, but let's keep going. Hey, there it is, our first master clue scroll from this grind. 80 caskets, or I guess 70 caskets in if I can actually do my math correctly. Hopefully I can complete this one without any problems. First master clue is a success. And there is our second master clue scroll. 2 for 2 for master caskets. And there is our third master clue scroll. 3 for 3 for caskets. Hey, there we go. That is a drop I'm looking for. The ham joint, a nice 3.1 mil. It's actually a very useful item for like Nightmare, but that is our first drop over 1 mil from our easy clues. So we will take that. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and wear that for good luck. We got ourselves our fourth master clue. We should have had a few more master clues at this point, but you know what? I'll take it for now. 4 for 4 on the master caskets. Hey, there's another big item, the nice flared trousers, another 3 mil from a clue item. We will definitely take that. And I think this is a very, very good clue. We got also Black Helm 2 and Black Shield 1. Are both of those also on the collection log? It looks like it was. So 3 collection log slots and 1 clue plus a nice 3 mil item. And there is our now fifth master clue. Like I said, we're a little dry in the master clues, but after getting a ham joint and flared trousers, like I said, I'm not really going to be complaining. Starting to lose track, but I believe this is 5 out of 5 caskets now. We're starting to catch up on our master clues now. There we are, 6 master caskets. And there we are. We are definitely caught up with our master clues now. I think this is our 7th. I believe this is number 7. And now our 8th master clue scroll. I believe this is master casket number 8. It's a pretty good item. The Amulet of Power T, a nice 700k there. And there we are. I believe this is our now 9th Master Clue Scroll. So we now have our 9th Master Casket. And I went ahead and built a stash unit for this step because bringing 5 items out to the wilderness is something I do not want to do on a regular. There is 500 easy clue scrolls completed, and we do have 6 extra because we did start with like 5 completed, so we now have ourselves the large spade. One of the big reasons I actually wanted to do 500, a very, very cool item, but we still have 6 more clues to open. And our very last easy clue scroll, what's going to be inside? Oh, we actually get ourselves Black Wizard Robe G, which is also a collection log item and worth a decent amount of money. So honestly, that is a pretty decent finale. However, it's not actually the finale because we still have a beginner clue that I got recently from a shooting star. We got ourselves a medium clue from an electric implings. We got 2 hard clues gathering all the 500 easies. And then from the 500 easies, we got 9 masters. So let's start with the lowest tier first and work our way up. From our 1 beginner, we get ourselves 45 GP. I guess I couldn't expect much there. But from the medium clue, we are going to get ourselves a Zamrod page 2, which is actually the last page I needed for the collection log. So that is very nice there. Didn't actually expect to get that from a medium of all things. 27k, not too bad. We have 2 hard clues. What are we going to get from these? 114k. Okay, that's not too bad. And the next one's 55k. Now we have 9 master clues. I'm actually very excited to open 9 master clues. Our first master clue, we get ourselves an old demon mask worth 400k from our first one. That is actually very, very good. We will gladly take that. Second master clue, we get another collection log, Samurai Greaves, and 300k. Again, very decent value. Will not complain about any of that. Third master clue, what is this clue? What? Anku gloves, lesser demon mask, robe of darkness. That's a nutty master clue. And I believe Anku gloves are extremely rare. It's like one of the rare drops you can get from master clues. That is awesome. Wow, what a master clue. This is why you do your master clues. 3 uniques from a single master clue. That is extremely rare. Like if I just close that out, look at how many collection log slots I got from that. That is insane. Another master clue, 277k, very decent. 200k from this one, our lowest so far. 476k from our next master clue, very, very decent. Next one, a nice 230k. And our last 2 master clue scrolls, please, some disgusting RNG would be absolutely amazing. 295k with a robe top of darkness plus a bowl wig. I think those are 2 unique items. So you know what? That's actually not too bad. And we do have 1 more master clue. I'm going to let the collection log slot go through here. And maybe, just maybe, our luck can go nuclear. 467k. That is great. That's still plenty. That was very, very good. I can't believe we actually got Anklu gloves from our master clues. 3.5 mil made there. Absolutely amazing there. Before I go ahead and show you guys the loot, let's just go ahead and check the loot tracker. From the 9 master clues, we made a nice 6 mil thanks to the Anklu gloves. From the 2 hard clues, 170k. Medium clue made a nice 27k. Beginner didn't make much there. And the 502 easies I ended up doing, we got a nice 21.5 mil. So very nice there. As you can see, a lot of loot. And then it should be counted that I made a decent amount from ham members. I didn't make the 3.7 mil that it shows there, but I definitely made a couple mil from the ham items, which I will be selling off soon. I want to also go ahead and show off the collection log for the easy clue scrolls and the master clue scrolls. I didn't show it off at the beginning, but it was basically empty for easy and it was empty for master before I started. So I didn't really start with much, and now we have 91 slots out of 131 slots for 500 easy clues. I'm very happy about that. It would have been super nice if I was able to get something like a team cape or a cape of skulls, but all in all, since I got myself a ham joy and flared trousers plus an amulet of power T, I am not going to be the one complaining. And then we go to the master clues. From 9 master clues, we got ourselves 7 slots in the collection log. That is way above average. I am very, very happy about that, and one of the items being Anku gloves is really, really cool. And now it is time to show you guys the loot tab. It's showing up at 27 mil, and I'm not exactly sure how much I'm going to make. I think what I want to do first is just sell off the ham items like the thread as well and see how much that's worth, and then we'll go ahead and sell off the clue items so you guys can see the value of both. And I want to be a little bit careful about this. I definitely don't want to insta sell everything, so this is going to take a long time for me, but for you guys it should just be a few seconds. I went ahead and checked the prices of all the ham items, and what I have everything listed for is actually what it will sell for eventually. However, I may have to do some price changing, but since I have a lot of easy clue items to sell off, I may as well leave it in and see what happens. I know I wanted to do the price check of just the ham items, but if I get lucky, it'll be about 2 mil, which honestly is amazing. As you can see, the ham hood just sold there, and the needles are selling off for the current price as well, so I don't want to insta sell it. It looks like we would have made a nice 90 to 100k from the stackable items, and then from the ham items a nice 2 mil, so we'll call it a nice 2.1 mil from keeping the ham items. Was it worth it? Probably not. not, because I could have done a few more easy clue scrolls had I not collected it, but I thought it would be interesting to collect them just to see what the value could be. Finally, we are finished selling off all of the clue items. The only items I was not able to fully sell off are the ham items, which will probably be finished selling off by the start of the next episode. So I'm fine with that. So an extra 2 mil plus the 24.3 mil that I have here. Not too bad. I definitely expected a bit more. I would have liked to make 30 mil from this grind, as that's what I should have expected to get, but I can't complain. We did get decently lucky to get the ham joint, the trousers, and the amulet of power T, and I think the 30 mil comes from the possibility of eventually getting the Cape of Skulls, which we did not unfortunately get. But I am very happy to make 24 mil from this grind, so let's just go ahead and throw it in my bank, and we are now over a 1.5 mil bank, but of course that always does include the twisted bow. So if we go ahead and take the twisted bow out, we are now up to a 238 mil bank plus the 2 mil in the grand exchange, so we are now up to 240 mil, which is pretty decent since we started at, I think, 217 mil. So a nice 23 mil made in this episode, I suppose. I guess we lost a little money somewhere, but hey, that's not too bad. Thank you guys for watching, but before I go, I figured I may as well get 99 thieving, since pickpocketing the ham members got me extremely close. There we are, 99 thieving. Let's go ahead and grab that skill cape. Here we are, the 99 thieving skill cape. Very nice to get another 99 done. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 10 of 0 GP to Tumeken Shadow. Starting off, as always, with that agility level up to 91 agility, and in this episode we are actually going to be taking on the Hollowed Sepulcher, and to do floor 5 I do need 92 agility, but my thought process is, since I've never done the Hollowed Sepulcher, I kind of want to learn a decent bit through floors 1 and 4, and maybe through that I can get all the way to 92 agility. If not, I'll just do as much as I can, and then once I feel like I've got the floor mastered, I'll just head back here and get 92 agility. So anyway, let's make our way to the Hollowed Sepulcher, and I have no idea what I'm doing because, like I said, I've actually never done it before. As I've stated, I've never done the Hollowed Sepulcher before, so this is definitely going to be an experience. What I do know is that when done well, it is the best way to train agility in the game, and also one of the most profitable skilling methods, as you have a chance with 92 agility to get a Ring of Endurance worth 31 mil from the Grand Coffin at the end of floor 5. The drop rate is 1 in 200, and I'll be doing at least 100 runs of floor 5 of the Hollowed Sepulcher in this video to attempt to get lucky and obtain one. First off though, we do need 92 agility, so let's start off at the lower levels. Here I am about to start the Hollowed Sepulcher. Luckily, I do have a few items that should help me out. I do believe I need a Mithril Grapple, so I'm bringing that as well. And from watching other people, I believe the Holy Symbol is somewhat required, or some type of Ceridolman item, as it'll like restore your run energy at the end, I believe, or something like that. Anti-poison for the Serpound, the hit point cape in case I take damage. I'm not even sure if you can take damage. I think the strange lockpick helps a little bit, and it doesn't use charges within the Hollowed Sepulcher, so that's nice. I do have a plank sack with mahogany planks because it's the highest tier, so I think it gives me best rewards, as well as I have, I think, like a level 3 enchant, which is like the best enchant that you can use. Honestly, I have no idea what to do with this stuff. I think there's like little alcoves I can like go into and loot coffins or something like that, and I've been told also that vampire dust is pretty good. I'm gonna bring a little bit of food. My weight is under 0, so that's good, and let's just give this a go, because like I said, I've never done this before. Have no idea how this is gonna go. Yep, this really shows how good I am at this stuff. I forgot to bring a saw and a hammer to repair the bridge, so yeah, let me go ahead and grab that as well. And honestly, I think I finished floor 1, but yeah, I definitely should have been able to loot this coffin here. And I was right, it looks like I did finish floor 1, so I think you activate this, and it looks like it just restores your run. So that is nice, and if I climb down the stairs, will I get like a personal best? I will. Okay, 124, that is not a good time at all. I'm going to keep going even though I do not have my saw and hammer, just to really get a feel for things and see what happens if I run out of time. I have no idea, again, what happens. For those curious, I eventually found out when you run out of time, you can no longer loot the coffins, but you can continue the run if you're just looking for XP. Hey, it looks like I've cleared floor 2 now, so not too bad there. Okay, there we go. I've looted my first coffin now. 138 adamant bolts from a single coffin. That's like 20 set. God, that's actually really decent money, and this is like just one of those side coffins, and then 4 hollowed marks. I really should look at the store and see how many hollowed marks I need, but 4 from a single chest? That doesn't seem too bad. There we go, completed floor 3 of the Hollowed Sepulcher, and I guess that's 1 total completion. Not too bad. I didn't even get a timer for that because I ran out of time, but I think I'm starting to learn things, but I do want to check out the shop and see how much everything is costing. Looking at the shop, things aren't as expensive as I thought they were. Looks like the teleport is basically only 1 mark, which just teleports you to the start. The hollow token is 10 marks, which basically gives you 1 extra minute, which I might need at the end if I start making it to floor 5 in the future. And then the grapple, the focus, the symbol, and the hammer is only 100 marks piece, and then the ring is 250. I think the ring is the most valuable because it like negates damage, so I should probably go for the ring first. And yeah, the fact that I got 8 marks without even knowing what I'm doing, and I think there were more areas I could loot, I just wasn't aware where they are. Oh, and I also need to bring a hammer and a saw, and that should help a little bit. So if I bring all that, I may be able to get quite a few marks per run, and I'll also make it through floor 4. I think we might have a good thing going here. Let's see how our second run goes. Yes, I made it through floor 3 this time with plenty of time to spare. At least I think that's plenty of time. 146. I still failed the obstacles a few times, but I did also loot a few chests. Now we're up to 13 hollow marks. And like I said, the hollow marks are actually going a lot faster than I thought they would. And I'm still missing a lot of like little shortcuts where you can loot the coffins. So if I actually know where all the loot spots are and I loot the coffins every time, I should get a fair amount of marks per run. So that's very nice. But let's head to floor 4 for the first time now. No. I think I completed floor 4, but I did run out of time, but it was kind of close. Uh, yeah, floor 4 has been completed 1 time, so not too bad, I suppose. And I am still missing so many of the like little enclaves where I'm supposed to like go out and actually like loot the chest. I think this time I'm going to focus on getting the chest and see how much marks I can get. Oh, it looks like I got myself a mysterious page from the Hollowed Sepulchre. I have no idea what that is. Probably a book or a diary I could put this in, but I guess cool. Another collection log slot. I made it through floor 4, but I did have to miss that chest. I kind of even didn't see that chest, but I should in the future go for it. But I believe now I can't even climb down because this was floor 4, so yeah, 92 agility. So that I can actually make it all the way to floor 4 with time remaining, with looting most of the chests as well. So I'm very proud of that. One of the chests like had a conjure, and I failed the conjure enough times where it didn't even let me loot it anymore. I didn't even know that was possible. So I did learn something new there, and now if we go ahead and quick exit, we should get a okay amount of agility XP. 320 new personal best. Not too bad. I'm quite enjoying the Hollowed Sepulchre. I've been grinding the Hollowed Sepulchre for a bit now, and the Hollowed marks are actually coming quite fast. We're up to 257, so that means if we go ahead and go into the trade option, we can go ahead and buy the ring. And I do believe what the ring does is it basically means I will no longer take damage, so no need to bring food in, though I haven't been taking much damage anyway, so maybe the ring was a mistake. But I definitely want to get all the other options if we go ahead and go into not exchange, but trade. I would like to get the grapple, the focus, the symbol, and the hammer. I feel like if I get all 4 of those items and I'm still not 92 agility, I'll probably just finish the rest off at Artie, as everything else isn't really needed. I guess I get hollowed sacked, but I don't even think it's that good of money. So let's just go ahead and finish off the other 4 items. Start with the hollowed grapple, as I seem to fail that the most, so there we go. Hey, there is the strange old lockpick I was talking about. We got it from, I think, a floor 3. Actually, I think this is floor 4 chest. So very nice. Worth about 80k there. Not really worth too much, I suppose, but I guess it's cool to get it on the collection log. I think I want to buy the focus. Now I should never fail conjuring the frames since I seem to do that quite a bit. It's time to go ahead and buy the hollowed symbol. And now all we have left is the hollowed hammer. So let's go ahead and get that last. And we have the last 100 marks of grace that I need. So if I go ahead and trade, we can buy the hollowed hammer. And that's pretty much all I can do until I unlock floor 92. That rhymed there, did not mean to do that. Everything else from the shop is like cosmetic and doesn't really affect anything. So I feel like I'm going to go ahead and train all the way from 91 to 92 at Ardoin course and then head back here and we'll try to get ourselves the Ring of Endurance, which is worth it quite a bit of money right now. And there we are at 92 agility, so we can now do floor 5 of the Hollowed Sepulchre. And just to add some perspective, I've probably spent around 20 hours in this episode alone training agility at the Ardoin course, so these videos really do take some time. Our first time on the final floor. I have no idea how hard this is going to be, and I have about 4 minutes to do it, so I am assuming it's going to be quite hard. I've never done this before. I made it to the Grand Coffin, but it was a journey and a half, and unfortunately I will not be able to loot it because the time is up. I believe even if I do quick exit here, I'm going to get a really bad personal best. Okay, you don't even get personal best if it's that slow. Yeah, I'm glad I took the time to learn it though, because I do think with a couple runs, I can definitely get my first completion where I can actually loot and get a chance of the Ring of Endurance. Yes, I did it. I have completed floor 5 with 50 seconds left. I looted absolutely nothing. And I believe this is the grand coffin I get to loot, so let's go ahead and search for traps and see what I get inside of it. We have opened the grand coffin one time, 9 hollow marks and 6 monkfish. That is absolutely awful, but I am happy I completed it. That means I can complete it a lot more times, and hopefully we can get ourselves that of endurance. We got our last mysterious page from one of the chests, and look how close we are in time. I feel like a lot of my Hollowed Sepulchre runs, I am like just cutting it down to the wire. I like fail like 5 times during this long run right here, and just at the end of the run, I end up somehow finishing it. I guess like just the pressure gets to me in a good way where I'm able to finish it. And let's see if we can get ourselves the ring here. Unfortunately, no ring, but a nice 2 rune handers, and we've gotten all of the mysterious page now. Just looted the grand coffin our 20th time. That means we are 1/10 of the drop rate, and we got ourselves an elite clue, which isn't too bad. I think I have every step of a clue that you can get from the sepulcher now. I think I have a medium, hard, and now an elite in my bank. I've already done one medium from the sepulcher, but I think I'm just going to hold on to these clues because I really just want to continue grinding this instead of just going back and get clues, because the clues here are actually kind of common. I'd probably get one like every 10 runs if I looted all the coffins and everything like that. So, yep, that's what I'm going to do, but I will complete the elite once I finish here. There we are, halfway finished with the grind. We've now opened the Grand Hollow Coffin 50 times. Unfortunately, I haven't really seen anything exciting, though. There's only really 2 things I can see that are exciting. There's a 1 in 100 chance that a ghost pops up, and there's a 1 in 200 chance we get the item we're looking for, Ring of Endurance. And I really do hope we get the Ring of Endurance because it's worth quite a bit of money. And so far, am making decent money. If we go ahead and head to this tab, we've made about 9 mil from the 50 runs that we've done of the full thing, but that also includes the about 50 runs that I did previously before I got 92 agility. So overall, the money's pretty decent here, but the money would be so much better if we end up getting a ring, and let's just hope we do. Still in the middle of my Hollowed Sepulchre, but a new update just came, and with that update, we can now claim a bunch of XP, which will actually get me from 92 to 93 agility. We go ahead and talk to Purdue here. As you can see, a lot of XP I have to claim here, and I might even get more levels in other skills that I'm just not aware of. So yeah, let's just go ahead and claim all my XP and see how big of an XP drop that is. That was massive, and if we just walk away, you can see how many levels we got. So we got 93 agility like I talked about. Did we get anything else? 87 hunter as well, and that is awesome. Very nice to get 2 levels there and a bunch of XP along with that. Hey, there we are, 94 agility. That means we're only 5 levels off 99 now. Didn't think I'd be getting this much XP from the Hollow Sepulchre, but it's super, super nice. Unfortunately, other than the levels and nice XP I'm getting, it's been rather uneventful. The most exciting drops I'm getting are like the strange old lockpicks and completing the entire book, or whatever the 5 pages are that I got from the Hollow Sepulchre. But even though it's been relatively uneventful because I haven't gotten myself the Ring of Endurance yet, the actual loot that I have been getting is still very decent, even without, like I said, the Ring of Endurance. As you can see from my about 85 KC of the Grand Hollow chest, we've gotten a total of 14.4 mil. I decided to do some digging around, and I figured out what to do with those 5 pages I got from earlier. Apparently, if I investigate the skeleton, I'll get myself a nice tome, and then I can put all 5 pages in it, and I'll probably get some lore or something like that. I didn't really care too much about the lore here, but all in all, I'm just glad to get these pages out of my bank and kind of at least know what to do with them. We actually got the ghost. Unfortunately, I do not have a ghost speak amulet, so he's just saying woo woo woo. But that was 97 chests, and we got the 1 in 100 there of getting the ghost. So that's actually pretty interesting. I didn't think I'd get that. Pretty much right on drop rate. So unfortunately, if we go on drop rate, we will not be getting the ring because we only have 3 more tries at it. But hopefully we can get a little lucky. And here we are, the final coffin for 100 hollowed coffins looted. What is going to be inside of it? Are we going to get lucky? Unfortunately, we are not, but that is 100 looted. And if we just go ahead and pop the loot tracker real quick, that is a nice 16.8 mil, about 17 mil made just from looting all this. And that's not even all the money. Since I am doing this for money and I don't really care too much about the Black Dyed Graceful, though it does look nice, I am just going to go ahead and buy the sacks and see how much money I can make off that. If we go ahead and trade this mysterious stranger, hollowed sack, 100 marks, and if I buy one, it shouldn't go up in value, so let's just go ahead and spend all my marks. I think that's also a collection log. Oh, apparently it's not a collection log slot. And if we open them, does it like give multiple items? You don't have enough inventory space, so apparently this will, yeah, fill up my inventory quite fast. So I'll probably take like 5 at a time and open those. There is our first one, and yeah, it seems like they're worth quite a bit of money. I'm just going to spam through these, but of course I'll record them just so you know what I got from all of them. And there is all of the hollowed sacks open. And does it show in the loot tracker? It does. So it's from 25 hollowed sacks. That may not be accurate. We got a nice 2 mil, so an extra 2 mil added onto our 17 mil, so about 19 mil. But let's head to the GE and actually sell it all off and see exactly how much we've made. Before I head to the GE, however, there's one final thing I want to show you guys, and that is all the personal bests I've managed to get within the sepulcher. I don't know if these times are good or bad, but it's just what I managed to do. And I also want to emphasize the hollowed sepulcher was a ton of fun. It really is as good as they say it is. So if you're struggling with agility, especially if you've already gotten all the way to 92 agility and you're looking for a fun way to train it, I highly recommend the hollowed sepulcher. Though I will say, once I didn't have 92 agility, like just doing floor 4, it stopped becoming fun after a while. But once I hit 92 agility, doing floor 5, trying to get all the timings, it became a lot more fun. Well, I have finished selling off everything, and if we go ahead and examine, we're up to 18.4 mil. However, I do have a few clue scrolls, so let me go ahead and grab those out of the bank. I got a master clue instead of elite because one of the elites I had I was unable to finish. So let's start with the beginner casket. We get a nice 1.4k. We have two mediums, one's worth 6k, and the other is worth 57k. Looks like there's quite a few uniques there because I haven't done too many medium clues. I think I might even be 3 different uniques, so that's quite nice. We have one hard clue, and from the hard clue, nothing too special. And then from one master clue, we have ourselves 274k plus a bullwig, kind of cool. And after selling everything off from the clue scroll, we are left with now 18.8 mil, so another 400k from the clue scrolls. So let's go ahead and throw that into the bank. And now we're up to a 68 mil cash stack, and our total bank, if we take out the T-bow, is now worth 256 mil. So we have broken the 250 mil mark. Kind of special in my opinion. I think that's a pretty decent amount of money to make from zero, of course, plus the twisted bow made from zero within about 2 months. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of Zero GP to Tumeken Shadow. We're closing in on the end goal of Tumeken Shadow and completing the 500 invocation raid with it, and in this episode we'll be taking on the Tombs of Amasket. The reason being is I need more than just the Tumeken Shadow to complete a 500 invocation raid, specifically a couple untradeable items being the Eliteness Thread for the 4-slot rune pouch and the Karis Partisan of the Sun. The Karis is especially useful as it has 2 very powerful effects inside the Tombs of Amasket. The first being a special attack costing 75% special energy, which does everything an Ambrosia does except it drains your prayer points by 50. The second effect is a passive effect. Whenever you kill an NPC while wearing the Karis Partisan, you heal 12 health in exchange for 5 prayer points. As you can imagine, both of those effects are extremely powerful when you're trying to complete a 500 invocation raid, so we will be obtaining both of those items in this episode. It's also worth noting there is a possibility of straight up obtaining a Tumeken Shadow throughout raids, so let's hope we can once again get lucky. Before we get started with the Tombs of Amasket, the 2 weapons I'd like to grab is Azmutun's Fang and a Lightbearer. The reason being is Azmutun's Fang is one of the best weapons inside the Tombs of Amasket, so extremely strong weapon to grab. And the second thing I'd like to grab is a Lightbearer. Reason being is it basically just allows your spec to restore twice as fast, and specs are very important inside the Tombs of Amasket. With all the money making we've been doing recently, we have a nice 69 mil to spend. Unfortunately, I do not believe that is enough for the Fang plus the Lightbearer, and I do need a few supplies, so I do need some cash for that as well. But we do have things to sell off. If we go ahead and head to this tab, we've been working on agility a lot in the last episodes, and we have a nice 730 marks of grace, which I may as well spend on Amylase crystals, so I'll go ahead and do that. Plus, we do have some items which I will not be using for the Tombs of Amasket, which I don't mind selling off, namely the Zamarakian Hasta, as it's just really used as a stab weapon, and since I'm buying one of the best stab weapons in the game, the Azmutun's Fang, we may as well sell that off as well, and that should be enough money for now. Sold off all the Amylase crystals and the Zamarakian Hasta, so now we are up to 82 mil, so let's go ahead and purchase all the items I need. The first round of items have bought for the Tombs of Amasket, mainly the Azmutun's Fang and the Lightbearer like I talked about, but generally I bought some supplies as well, plus an Aram's robe skirt since I didn't already have one, so let's go ahead and take all that, and there's a few more items I'd like to buy as well. Here is the last bit of supplies I need for the Tombs of Amasket, basically just runes for the Toxic Trident, and I think I also want to try out Thralls, so I bought some runes for those, some boosting potions, and I also bought obsidian plate legs since I can't really afford anything better. Kind of deja vu to the beginning of the series where I bought a lot of supplies for what I'm doing, and also the fact that I don't have much money left after doing so. This is the inventory I'm going to go with: 6 brews, 3 restores, a combat potion, and a ranging potion, and a bunch of gear to switch through. I think this is the most gear I've ever had since I usually use Void on my Zerker to do Tombstone Masket. Very, very different, as I've never done a single Tombstone Masket in this account. And I went ahead and made myself a party, as you can see, no KC, and this is what I'm going to start with. Going to go with 150 to start. It should be no problems, but I do want to start low and eventually just scale my way up, instead of starting high and then constantly failing, having to pay for deaths and things like that. A 150 is still very, very good and still a very good chance of getting lucky and getting ourselves a purple. But like I said, I will be scaling this up. I will most likely get 300, maybe even 350s done in this episode. But yeah, let's get started with a 150 and see how smooth that goes. There we are, the first Tombs of a Masket completed, and look how many combat achievements I got from my first run. That's not too bad, if I must say so myself. The time was terrible, but at the same time, I was taking it extremely, extremely chill. And I guess we may as well check. Are we going to get a 1KC luck if we zoom out here? Unfortunately, it is a white light. But like I said, the things I am looking for from the raid is the Jewel of the Sun and the thread, so I can get that from any of the loots, not just a purple light. So hopefully I get one of those two from our first Tombs of Masket. The thread's pretty common. Unfortunately, no, 111k in the first one, but let's go ahead and scale up the difficulty a little bit. I went ahead and made it a 200 invocation raid instead of a 150 that I did last time. I believe the things I added were more overlords, upset stomach, and the feeling special, which ended up being an extra 50, and I'll probably continue to add on to this as I get more comfortable, and I think I'll get to 300 invocation within a few raids. Before I get started with the 200 raid though, I went ahead and switched to the ancient spellbook and bought some runes to go ahead and cast Ice Barrage and Blood Barrage instead. It's just what I'm more used to. I do know eventually thralls are better than bringing Blood Barrage and Ice Barrage, but like I said, I'm just used to it, so I think that's what I'm going to go with. Another Tombs of a Masket completion, this time on a 200 scale, and it was a lot faster than my first one. The experience, now that I've done 2 raids instead of 1, I definitely got a bit faster. Let's see if we get any lucky for this one. Again, another deathless run. Unfortunately, another white light, but as I should always restate, I am not really going for purples, but if I get one, obviously I'm going to be extremely happy of it. But I want to see if I can get myself the thread or I can get myself the Jewel of the Sun. Unfortunately, no, but 376k from a normal chest, that is not too bad. Definitely better than like the 100k we got our first run. And like I did in the last time, I think I want to scale the difficulty up yet again. Third time's the charm. We got it, and my supply box was like a complete mess that time. I had everything disorganized, but we did get the 250 completed. Are we going to get rewarded from this raid? Unfortunately, another white light. Are we lucky? Unfortunately, we're not. But now, since we've completed the 250, and I'm pretty confident now that I'm getting the hang of things, I want to move it up to 300. And I'm not too familiar with all of the invocations and like what's best nowadays, the metas and all that. So I think I'm going to do some research and find like the best 300 I can try to do. I've checked a few ways of doing the invocations, and I think I found a 300 that's pretty decent. I like it a lot because I don't have a timer on. I do have no help needed, which I'm a little iffy about because I've never done it with this. It basically means I'm only going to get one of each quantity of supplies, but I looked into it a little bit and I think it's doable, so we'll see how that goes. I've got live larvae, blowing mud, and aerial assault for the Kefri. I've got pretty much all of the Zebak ones. I've got staying vigilant and feeling special for Akka, and for Baba I have faith, jungle japes, and shaking things up. I don't really know how I feel about this. Oh, and I also have ancient haste turned off, which is kind of nice, and then I also have insanity turned on, so that's going to be a little interesting. So let's get into it. Well, we did it. There we go. We got ourselves a Master and Elite Combat achievement, and we did complete our first Expert Tombs of a Masket. Definitely a bit of a struggle, to be completely honest. The supplies don't look great, but I am glad to do it with Insanity on, and not only with Insanity on, but also doing it with the reduced supplies, only 10% supplies. So I can only improve upon that, and hopefully I will with more and more runs, especially getting some more money, which maybe we'll get here as as I was trying to time that correctly. Unfortunately, a white light, but maybe we can get the thread so that way we can save an inventory slot. Unfortunately, no thread, but Dragon Dart tips, that's a pretty decent drop. We'll take it. I looked through my bank, and there's actually quite a few items that I'm not currently using for the Tombs of Masket, such as the Dragon Warhammer. So I'm thinking about selling a few items off just to get some upgrades that I could be using for the Tombs of Masket to make it a bit easier. I don't really mind doing this because I do eventually want to do a 500 invocation raid, and these upgrades might be permanent upgrades that I do take into that raid. Sold off a few items I'm not currently using in my bank, and now if we go ahead and collect, we have a nice 54.7 mil cash stack, so let's go ahead and spend that on a few upgrades. Here are the 3 items I decided to upgrade to. The Primordial Boots give me a little bit of accuracy and 1 strength bonus. The Bandos Tassets also give me 1 strength bonus and a lot of defense, plus a prayer bonus. And then the Eliteness Sword actually gives you magic damage in the offhand mage slot, which I currently didn't have anything for, so it's nice to have. Now there is one other upgrade that I'd like to get, but as you can see, I do only have a 50k cash stack. Fortunately, I have been doing my herb runs and my birdhouse runs. If you remember all the way back to episode 4, I bought myself enough Toadflax seeds to do 100 herb runs and enough redwood logs to do 100 birdhouse runs, and I have been doing them. I haven't finished the 100, but I feel like this is as good as a time as any to go ahead and sell them off, since I am going to get a significant upgrade, a nice 15 mil in toadflax and a decent few mil in bird's nest. I will go through them all and sell all the seeds. And you know what? Let's just get rid of this cash stack and see how much we make from all of that. I sold all the toadflax and the nest. Here's the money I got from all of the seeds, and here's everything else if we go ahead and collect a nice, look at that, 19.5 mil, which is just enough to buy the item I was looking for. The item I decided to buy was the Basilisk Jaw. The reason being is it's a little bit extra strength bonus, and it also gives no negative stats, and it also gives quite a bit of prayer bonus, but unfortunately it means I cannot use the Serpentine helmet, so I decided to buy some Sanfu serums as well. So there we are, the nice Knights is Not face guard. Another 300 invocation completed. I believe maybe we can get the thread. And we do. We got ourselves the thread of eliteness. So that means now we go ahead and throw that on the rune pouch. My mic stopped working a little bit after that clip, but soon after we did get ourselves 95 attack doing the Tombs of Masket. And on my 4th expert mode KC, I did get myself an elite clue. And I also decided I was only going to do one more expert KC, as I figured I may as well do lower invocation raids as I can go through them faster. And the main point of this is to get myself the Jewel of the Sun. So the faster I can do the raids, the more chances I have to get it. Unfortunately, no purples yet, but we've only completed like 8 raids, so I can't really expect anything. Anything lucky in this chest. Oh! That is a decent bit lucky. That is one of the gems we were actually looking for. Not the gem we're looking for. We are looking for the yellow gem, but you cannot get duplicates until you have all 3 of them. So this is the first one completed. We now have the Breach of the Scarab, so now we can only get the red one or the yellow one. Let's just hope the next one we get is the yellow one. And now that we have 5 expert completions, I am going to go ahead and downgrade the raid quite a bit and go ahead and try to spam these raids in hopes to get ourselves a yellow gem. You gotta love when you lose internet on the final boss of the round. Oh, would you look at that? We've got ourselves another gem, and we have not done too much KC. Unfortunately, this is once again the gem that we are not looking for, but the Eye of the Corruptor, that means the next gem is guaranteed to be the yellow gem. So hopefully we get that soon, and I'm going to keep running these. These 200s are really, really chill. They don't take too much time at all. Very nice to get a gem, but very unfortunate that it is the one gem that we do not need. But like I said, the next gem we get is guaranteed to be the one we want, so that is awesome. Well, this is pretty interesting. We're up to 28 total KC, 23 normal, 5 hard mode, and we just got ourselves our first Cache of Ruins. You'd think I'd get it a lot earlier than that, but it is a collection log slot, so I guess it's worth recording. And from the Cache of Ruins, we got ourselves 1,000 silver runes, so I guess I'll restock on that. Yes, there it is. That is the jewel we were looking for at 26 KC. I got extremely lucky getting all 3 gems in such a low KC, but that is the jewel we are looking for. That means we now have everything we need to complete the 500 invocation tombs of a masket, which we will be doing in the next episode. That is absolutely amazing. Before we end this video, I do have to sell off my loot, and before I even do that, I do have some clue scrolls to open. I got 6 beginners from birdhouse runs. I got an elite clue from Tombs of a Masket, and I can't even remember where I got my master clue. I think it may have been in the last episode, but I forgot to open it. Anyway, let's go ahead and start with the beginners and see if we can get some uniques. I don't think we've gotten a single unique through all of the beginner clue scrolls we've done throughout the series, and unfortunately that's not going to change today, but we do have an elite clue scroll. which is 74k, not too great, but we have the great Master Clue Scroll, which turns out to be a Mimic. That is very exciting. So yeah, let's go prepare for a Mimic fight. We have defeated the Mimic, and if you remember, getting a Mimic gives you a really good chance at getting 3rd Age, so hopefully we can get lucky. We did get a new personal best. Please, this would be the perfect opportunity to get lucky. And unfortunately, all that it adds is 15 raw mana ray. That is a really awful drop for it to add. I guess it's a 500k Master Clue. That's somewhat decent, but yeah, got my hopes up for nothing. Now we do have the loot to sell off, and first and foremost, I want to go ahead and show you the loot tracker so you know what I'm working with. 31 Tombs of Masket got me 8.6 mil, but I did sell off some loot because I did die a few times doing the harder raids, so I needed the cash. So keep that in mind, not all of the loot is here, but most of it is here, or at least most of it from the 200s I kept. So about 20 raids worth of loot is in here, and then I also got the clue scroll loot, so about 5 mil. Let's sell it off and see what we get. After selling off everything, we got ourselves a nice 5.5 mil, a bit more than what I price checked everything in the bank, but I did also sell off some runes, so that's probably where the extra money came from. So let's go ahead and throw that into the cash stack. We now have a 9.3 mil cash stack, which I can't even remember if it's more or less than what we started with. We bought and sold so many items in this episode, and we might even do some more for the next episode since we are going to be going for the 500, including the twisted bow. But if we take that out, we are over 250 mil, and I believe we started with over 250 mil, so we probably didn't make too much money as we didn't see a single purple throughout all of our Tombs of Masket, but that is okay because we got all 3 gems extremely fast, so I cannot really complain at all about that. I'm very happy about that, and we also got the Thread of Eliteness to make the Divine Rune Pouch, also a very, very nice upgrade. In the next episode, we will be obtaining the Tumeken Shadow and take on RuneScape's newest challenge, the 500 Invocation, Tombs of a Masket. Hello everyone, and welcome to the 12th and final episode of 0GP to Tumeken Shadow, the finale where we finally obtain the Tumeken Shadow, create a setup to complete a 500 Invocation, Tombs of a Masket, and do just that. To start this episode, we are going to go ahead and obtain the Tumeken Shadow, and as you may have guessed, in order to do so, I will have to sell off the Twisted Bow. I know this goes against what I said after obtaining it, but I'm ready to finish the series, and completing a 500 Invocation raid with just a Tumeken Shadow and no Twisted Bow, it's going to be quite the challenge. I sold the Twisted Bow for a little bit under 1.3 bill, and I was hoping the Tumeken Shadow would go down a bit to be around that as well, but unfortunately it's kind of sitting at around 1.4 bill, so I'll need to grab about another 100 mil. I sold off some of the gear I bought in the last episode, a little bit over 90 mil, and funny enough, I think we're still short on the money that we need for the Tumeken Shadow. I'm just going to try to get this to 1.4 bill, so I definitely have enough money, and then we'll go ahead and look at putting a buy offer in. I've sold off more stuff I probably won't need for the 500 Invocation, and here we are. We have 1396 mil. That should be enough to afford the Tumeken Shadow, so let's go ahead and look up some prices and put an offer in. Well, I completely forgot to record me grabbing the Tumeken Shadow, but if we go ahead and check the bank, we've got it. And no, I did not just get this from something else. I do have the history of me buying the Tumeken Shadow for $13.93. Funny enough, right after I bought it, it did kind of spike up in price. Currently, it's worth like 1.41 bill. I don't know if that's going to stay that price. I would guess it would go down. I really don't think it's worth even what I paid for it. I think it's worth like less than a Twisted Bow in my honest opinion. But it is what it is. We do have ourselves a Tumeken Shadow, and if we check the bank, other than the Tumeken Shadow, we have 164 mil to buy gear for the Tombs of a Masket. In order to create a setup for the 500 Invocation Tombs of a Masket, I reached out to one of the most experienced raiders I can think of, Mulgoat Kirby. And we came up with a setup that is extremely strong for the Tombs of a Masket run I am planning on pursuing, so let me go ahead and show it to you. Here is the setup we came up with: 3 powerful weapons, the Asmuten's Fang, the Bofa, and of course the Tumeken Shadow, with some half-decent gear, all the magic damage I could afford, some crystal armor in there for the bow. All in all, I am extremely happy with this setup. There is one small issue with this setup, and that being is the cost, as the 160 mil in my bank is nowhere near the amount of money I would need to make this setup possible. I think the Boa Faradin's around 130 mil alone, so that means I'm going to have to make some money. Since I'm making money for the Boa Faradin and also armor seeds, I feel like it's a good opportunity to do some Perfidious money making in order to get some crystal shards as well. And what do I mean by that? Probably doing things such as Volcano, pickpocketing elves, and maybe even doing a little bit of the gauntlet as well, as there's always a chance of just getting the Boa Ferretin from the gauntlet. And if I do that, then yeah, that's done. I'll have the Boa Ferretin and plenty of money to spend on everything else. So I'm probably going to do a mix of the three, starting with thieving because I do want to AFK for a little bit, and whenever I want to do something more active, I'll probably switch to Volcano and the gauntlet, and we'll see how that goes. It's worth noting, since the last time I've done some thieving here at the Elves, I have achieved 99 thieving, so it should go a bit more smooth. Just like the first two enhanced crystal teleport seeds I got, I wasn't paying attention at all. Look back at the screen, and what do you know, we've got ourselves 2 teleport seeds, and this one was pretty fast. Look at that, 338 elves, and we've already made ourselves 5 mil. I guess they are that expensive, so I may spend a decent amount of time here if I can make 5 mil that fast. Obviously, I did get quite a bit lucky, but it is quite nice with the thieving cape and the shadow veil spell, so yeah, let's keep going. Unfortunately, after that last clip, I fell a bit sick, so I ended up thieving elves longer than I would have wanted for money, but I will say with 99 thieving, it is pretty amazing money given the attention required, so let me show you how it went. I pickpocketed around 8,000 elves, and in those 8,000 elves, I got 20 enhanced crystal teleport seeds, which is around 50 mil, and a little bit of extra stuff as well. That is a lot of money, and now I think we have enough for everything we need. After selling off pretty much everything in my bank, I realized I'm going to need a little bit more money than I thought I did. Fortunately, I did have enough money to get the Boa Ferretin, so I went ahead and bought that. But in order to get the Boa Ferretin, I did have to sell off my Arams, and I did sell off my Torture as well and my Tormented Bracelet. I think I'm going to be bringing a Blood Fury, so that should be a little bit cheaper as long as I don't use all of the charges. And I definitely will need to buy my Tormented Bracelet back. And with the Boa Ferretin, I will definitely need full crystal. So I got about 50 mil worth of seeds last time, and I guess I'll need around another 50 mil worth of seeds. But I guess the good news is I am actually stacking up on the crystal shards pretty hard, and maybe if we're unlucky or lucky, however you want to see it, we can have enough shards to actually corrupt our Boa Ferretin. After another session of pickpocketing elves, I think we finally have enough money this time to purchase everything we need, though I think there is only one way to find out, and that is selling everything. But before we do, there is one thing I want to go ahead and show you guys, and that is the loot tracker, because I've gotten 42 crystals, which is doubled, so 21 crystals and 18.7 thousand pickpockets, which is quite nice. It's about average, maybe slightly lucky, which is expected, to be honest. But the most amazing thing is I was actually a little dry, and within the past 5 minutes, I've actually gotten 1, 2, 3 pickpockets of the enhanced crystal teleport seed. So within the last 5 minutes, I've actually made myself 15 mil, so very interesting. Since last selling the enhanced teleport seeds, they've actually gone up a little bit. As you can see, 2.76 mil instead of the 2.5 mil that I sold them before, which isn't a lot of money, but since I have so many of them, the 250k ends up being like an extra 5 mil or something like that. But not only have the teleport seeds gone up, but the Boa Ferretin has actually gone up quite a bit. As you can see here, 163 mil. I'm pretty sure I bought it at 130 mil, so I'm very glad I decided to buy the Boa Ferretin instead of buying anything else. The Tumeken Shadow is around where I bought it. Also, while pickpocketing the elves, I got myself the stale baguette from the random mystery box. I didn't really expect it, so I wasn't recording at the time, but as you can see here, it is in the collection log, so an extra 400k from the stale baguette. Plus, I've been catching the crystal implings as well, as you can see here, up to 37, so a little bit of extra money there. We should definitely have enough money for everything we need, though armor seeds have also gone up with the Boa Ferretin, but not like a crazy amount. We'll just sell everything and actually show the cash. I have finished selling off all of the teleport seeds, and here is the money that I got from pretty much everything else, including the 5 mil that I had from just pickpocketing. So there we are, 67 mil. That should be more than enough money for everything I need, which is just like full crystal. I need to buy the Tormented Bracelet back, and I think Arams, and then probably a few staff charges, but other than that, I think that's it. So maybe a bit overkill, but that is a good thing, because there should be a decent amount of supply costs. There we are, we have now purchased everything we need to go ahead and start doing some 500 invocation Tombs of a Masket. And we have about 8 mil left over, which I'll probably pump into staff charges and other supplies, which I'll need. But before we get started with any of that, I do also have the 1 elite clue that I got from the crystal implings and 2 beginner caskets that I got from birdhouse runs. So let's just run through those. It looks like we got ourselves a mimic. We can actually test out our Tumeken Shadow for the first time. And from the Mimic, unfortunately, we only get an extra 25 Grimy Runner reads, and we get a collection log item with the Pest Control teleports, but 200k from an Elite Clue. Yeah, not too great. With all of that out of the way, we are finally ready to take on the 500 Invocation Tombs of Amasket. We have ourselves the powerful Tumeken Shadow, the Asmuten's Fang, and also the Boa Ferrodin. Very strong weapons, and I'm extremely happy with the setup that I came up with Mulgoat Kirby. I feel like this is a very strong setup to take on a 500 Invocation. The Karis Partisan of the Sun from the last episode wouldn't be done without this, and the Dragon Dagger to hopefully 3-phase the Warden, but we'll see how that goes. I have a Super Combat Potion, I'll be bringing that in, and a Ranging Potion for a pre-pot. Other than that, just one Sanfu and a bunch of Restores. I decided to go with the Ancient Spellbook as I'm not too familiar with Thralls, and Thralls would also take up an extra inventory space. And here is the invocations I'm going for, so in case you're curious. The Hardcore Run, No Help Needed, Walk the Path. I probably won't name them all, just going to scroll through here. Pretty much almost everything is turned on, but there are a few things that are turned off because it is 500 invocations. So let's go ahead and get started. I will probably play around with the invocations a little bit and probably do some practice runs with like no deaths on because I don't really have the money for deaths, so I'll probably turn off the death invocation and turn on like a time invocation just to simulate the 500 until I get the hang of things, and once I feel like I have that, we'll give it a go. The first room I had to learn at 500 invocation was Baba, and with the gear I'm bringing, I felt I need to red X Baba in order to have a chance of completion. It took around 20 deaths in the infinite death invocations, but eventually I figured it out. Take runoff. Once he gets close to me, go and pray melee. Get one attack in, and then stand here, and you'll have the pathfind. Or actually, I guess he doesn't have to, but... And then I think I stand here, and we're good. Oh, no, messed up. Please. Yes! We did it! Oh, I messed up at the end, but it doesn't matter. Oh my god, that took forever. 2 hours. 2 hours to finish Baba, man. After spending 2 hours at Baba, we finally got a completion. And then, the next room was Kefri. And to my surprise, it's actually really simple. Nothing really changes from the 300 invocation raids I'm used to, except for everything just has higher stats, so I was actually able to complete it on the first try. I mean, I guess the dung starts to add up after a little bit, but it's like, it's still so much spots. Like, it's not no problem. 500 invocation, bug room done with one Sanfu dose and 4 restore doses. Very easy room. The next room in my rotation was Akka, and this one caused me the most trouble. And no, I'm not just memeing on the double trouble invocation. I died on Akka quite a bit more than even Baba, totaling about 40 deaths, to which I gave up on after that to look into some different methods to make Akka a bit easier, and eventually I found this gem. Alright, now you guys get to see the crazy method. 1, 2, 3, 4... Yeah, there we go. I still got it. I'll leave the video I found showing this method in the description if you're interested, but this staircase method with double trouble makes Akka actually feasible with my setup, and after just a few attempts, we finally got a completion. There we go, the first Akka completion, and that means it is only Krondys left. And to my surprise, Zebak was actually very similar to Kefri, in the sense that there's no major changes from the 300 invocations I'm used to the 500 invocation Zebak. The biggest difference since I'm doing Zebak last, it always has at least level 4, so the attack speed of Zebak was extremely fast, and honestly just everything in the room for that matter just happens a lot faster. Now, I do want to tell you guys that I struggled extremely hard here because, you know, climbing mountains to achieve your goals, I feel like it's just a better story. But Zebak met the exact same fate as Kefri, as I was able to complete it on the first attempt. There we go! Zebak completed first try, even got the combat achievement, and now it is only the wardens left. Unfortunately, I was still using the invocations for infinite deaths during this run, otherwise there was actually potential to complete the 500 invocation right then. But with that being said, my first attempt at the 500 invocation wardens went amazing. Genuinely, just like Kefri and Zebak, it's the same mechanics, just more HP, and things were also just happening a little faster. So let me just stop talking for a minute and you guys can see for yourself how well my first warden attempt went. To make it all the way to the end of Wardens on the first attempt was an extreme confidence booster for me. After that run, I knew I could complete the 500 invocation with the skills I've learned so far, so I decided to switch up the invocations and turn on hardcore run and go for the 500 invocation run for real. As you can imagine, there were a lot of deaths that followed, and I'm very fortunate I had those extra mills to pay for them, as each death was quite expensive and ended up using all of my cash on deaths by the end of it. I went ahead and put all the deaths into a compilation for you guys, so I hope you enjoy. After all of those deaths, the motivation was dwindling, along with the money for deaths and supplies. So I took a break for a couple days, and the first run back after those Tuesdays was the cleanest I've ever had. I hope you enjoy. We did it, guys, and are we going to get lucky? Unfortunately, no purple with the 500 invocation, but we have done it. The 500 invocation raid has been completed. I am so happy to open this chest and see what is inside of it. There we are, the Remnants of Zebak, the Cursed Phalanx, that's what you get for the 500 invocation, the Metaphite Ornament Kit, I think that's 425, and the Missouri Crafting Kit for 350. Let's go ahead and take all that, and we also got an Elite Clue, so I guess that's kind of cool. And there we are, we did it. The 500 invocation raid with the Tumeken Shadow from scratch. I hope you guys enjoyed the series. I did what I said I would do from day one. I achieved the Tumeken Shadows starting with 0 GP, and I completed the 500 invocation Tombs of a Masket. If you did enjoy, a like would be much appreciated. Subscribe to stay tuned, as I plan on starting a new series now that I've completed this one, where I challenge myself even further. And with that being said, I hope everyone watching has a great day, and I'll see you all very soon.